AI. Yeah, that was when he did Grind Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was when he was AI.
Yeah. I'm happy he changed his name before AI now became, very popular.
He's an amazing musician. I've watched him perform live so many times at Kojo Q's concerts, A Connect concerts, at Alliance and stuff. He's
no wonder, because I can
amazing.
Feel the liveness and the jazziness of it.
That's Beatrice appreciating music this morning.
Yes. Because I went to, I don't know whether I'm supposed to mention the name, but it was a Friday evening. I went with my sister and other people.
I sure it was your sister. I mean, you can tell us if you went with who, It's okay. No. I mean, we are adults, you understand?
It was
Akabele will not judge you. It's okay. Yeah.
Last year, I so enjoyed it. It was from 9 p.m. up until midnight. And it was so lovely. This is the kind of music that I heard, and it's just I'm just reminiscing. Very lovely.
It's your Pentecost. So all week, Roland has been on her case that she's too Pentecostal, like sorry, book long. Sometimes let your hair down. I mean, today is Friday.
I just confirmed, say Friday.
No, but he said that was in December.
Oh.
Are we not in August? Kofi Blay, what to say?
I'm okay.
Everything okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
You guys are on a legal vacation.
Yes.
So you're supposed to be looking more refreshed than you're looking right now. But today is the day that we'll receive the verdict on Kojo Nkrumah's
the injunction.
Exactly.
Yeah, the injunction aspect of it. Yes.
That please, if we're on legal vacation, let everybody be on legal vacation. Don't select cases for some selected judges to go and sit on. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't have any thoughts on that. But
please don't put
what
him
I
in
have
trouble.
thoughts on are those who are talking about it. Why legal vacation? You see, I've heard a lot of senior lawyers, and I heard Thaddeus on KSM's program. There's no senior lawyer anywhere who you talk to who would completely run down the legal vacation. I think that the controversy is around the decision to decide that some cases should be heard and what should be done about it. Because the kind of relief that you get during the vacation, I mean, no one would outright kick against it. It's the questions about what it should be, whether some selected cases should be heard, and all those politics of it. In Ghana, when there's politics involved in anything, the most if we are supposed to go for a concert this evening and they tell us that MPP says they will boycott the concert, you see it to become political.
Yes.
A normal concert too.
Yes,
that's how conversations generally occur in this country. Yeah. So, I mean, for us, we are enjoying the vacation. It's been good. It's been good. Let's relax. You still have to do a lot of things, but you don't have to mix it up with a busy court schedule like you ordinarily do.
Yes, because I'm told that it's not entirely a free period for you guys. I mean, there are still a number of cases that you're working on, so you're gathering information, evidence, and all of that. So it's not entirely true that you guys just sleep and wake up whatever time that you want. You're still working.
Yes,
just that you're not showing up.
In fact, people show up with, yesterday I did some work for someone, 2 days ago to the same thing. People show up with different legal matters that they need addressing. And around this time is when you have a lot of time on your hands.
Right.
And there are addresses that you are working on that requires a lot of reading. So this is the time that you can do that. The only difference this time around is you don't go to court as often as you do during the normal legal term.
Right.
So it's not an absence of legal work like some will make it seem.
And when this issue came up, because I had heard a senior lawyer talk about even your own rules, the High Court Civil Procedure Rules, CI 47. And when you look at, I think, Rule 1, and 1, it says, subject to the Courts Act, 1993, Act 459, as amended, the Chief Justice may appoint any day, including vacations, for the hearing or of causes or matters as circumstances require.
So it's law.
Yes.
And this is, I'm talking about the High Court Civil Procedure Rule, CI 47. And although it is named as High Court, the understanding I get is that it can be applied, because High Court is a superior court. It can be applied even at the Supreme Court and other places when the circumstances meet these demands that we talk about. So, well, I won't go into the interpretations of it.
It's
exactly.
Today,
yes.
So we will hear the judgment, and then
it's a ruling on the question of whether the specialized courts that have been given the warrants to hear the cases, whether they should be restrained from hearing the case because of the allegations that are contained in the application that is made, basically saying that it's not fair to the other courts and it's not fair to the accused persons that other cases are not being heard and they are being forced to hear it. So this is not a substantive decision, but the court would have to tell us whether those courts are injuncted or not.
So you see, in the midst of all of this, I've also had one primary question, which is, it is every client and every lawyer's desire for your case to be heard.
No, not necessarily.
So,
not necessarily.
Some want it to be heard later so they can buy time and all that.
Yes, there are so many other reasons. It's not necessarily. I've seen people make that argument. Let me give you a very simple example. If there are instances where someone may be in debt, someone owes money, $100,000, the person will get the money in, say, 3 weeks.
Right.
And the person has been sued.
Right.
You can file various applications that takes the matter out of them, takes the drugs beyond a month. In which case the person gets the money and you go over and say that, well, let's resolve the matter. I mean, so it's not necessarily, sometimes you are talking, you are genuinely having negotiations behind the scenes. So it's not always the case that you are
I think that's the same thing they did with the Wontumi case.
Right.
Yeah.
When eventually the judge decided to rule and said that whatever it is you were doing, we thought it was deleted.
Sometimes if you're in a hurry, you end up where you don't want to.
I know, right? So it's good to take your time.
Sometimes it's a fact, and it's the reason why, in fact, it's the reason why all parties must genuinely make the effort to ensure that we are dealing with the matter expeditiously. So because if you allow yourself with the thinking that everyone wants it to end properly,
quickly,
it's not going to go that way. Someone will have his own plans and will stifle it completely.
All right, that on the side. Let's head to some energy matters, as the entire country or major parts of the country was plunged into total darkness yesterday. Did you experience that as well?
I've had a little, so I slept a lot yesterday, so when I woke up...
Want to cry?
No, sorry, lightning bar still.
Okay.
Yeah, when I woke up, it was still...
So the whole of yesterday?
No. So, like, I woke up like mid-morning there, so like around 11 a.m. there.
Okay.
Yeah, and there was still no light, and I was just confused.
Thought it was so nice?
I was just in a hurry to go to the hospital, so I just went out, and it was later that I was coming back that I was checking, and I saw the great
it was
and I realized that the light the similar thing that happened weeks back had occurred again.
I mean, congratulations to those who had this in the morning, because
you said yours came later in the afternoon.
Yes.
Well, according to Gridco, I think a little after 12 noon was when power was restored everywhere in
I think there are still some areas.
Yes.
This morning when I was coming, there were some areas that were still very dark. They don't have lights still.
Well, the energy minister has been speaking, and he says that the recent power outages are being triggered by a fragile temporary system at the Akosombo power plant installed to avert a 6-month shutdown following a major incident after the explosion at the Gridco Akosombo situation in April. He says a permanent control center is expected to be ready next month, which should significantly improve the stability of power supply across the country. So rest assured, most parts are on. Yesterday, when we engaged you on our WhatsApp line, most of the places, whilst we were still here on TV3 Newday, did not have a light, but most of them have been restored at the moment. But we want to engage you again this morning. Let us know if your lights are back on or not. But colleagues, well, the minister says that instead of averting a 6-month-long power outage, I wonder how would have been able to manage that, right?
They decided to put in the temporary
measure. And yesterday, the spokesperson for the energy minister, what's his name again? Is it
Roxin?
Exactly. When he was asked by Alfred Okanse if we should expect, a number of these outages, I loved his honesty. And it says that because they are dealing with a fragile temporary situation, situations like this are likely to happen in the future. But of course, it's not something that should probably take a number of days, like 2-3 days, but maybe in the instance that we had yesterday, we could have a repetition of it. But hopefully, that solution that we are all waiting for to be ready by next month, as indicated by the power minister or the energy minister, should be ready so that we can all have some respite when it comes to the doom, doom. Yes.
Whichever, depending on where you stand.
Exactly. Whichever one it is for you. we would have some respite come next month, which is September 2026. So let's engage you this morning. Let's know if your power is back on or not. And at this point, I think it would also be okay to head to Bolgatanga, where we have that rape case involving that autistic child. How old is she, by the way? I'm not sure I caught her age anywhere.
14.
She's 14. She's 14. And I'm particularly concerned about that letter that the school wrote to the parents, which was reiterating again in the letter that she was rather involved in sexual misconduct when indeed investigations had pointed to the fact that she was raped. I don't know where the discrepancy came
but
from.
Even at age 14, that's defilement.
Yes, that's what you're going to say, right?
Yes. Yeah, so I don't know why people do that.
I have no idea. And it's two security men. So were they doing this in agreement, or it was at separate times? I really want to understand exactly what went on. And why are you taking an advantage of a child who is autistic? Obviously, you can tell that there's something wrong with the child. So sometimes I don't get it in this country. But yeah, it is what it is. Get onto the phone lines with us. Our WhatsApp number is right there on your screen. Send us messages. We'll be on the dashboard to read as many of them as possible. If it's your birthday as well, happy birthday to you. It's a Friday. Today we did promise that it was going to be raining, or it is going to be raining cash right here on TV3 Newday. So it's a big jackpot today. *439# if you're a Telecel or MTN subscriber. We're starting with the first 2,000 Ghana cedis this morning. Another 3,000 Ghana cedis will follow. And if you show me some good love, as I am ready to show you love, I would add the last 5,000 Ghana cedis, depending on the amount of love you've shown me. I've been away for some time. The monies I've been dishing out in my absence has been very minimal. Because, yes, I had gone to the IMF to go and bring you more cash. And so this morning is the big jackpot. So you're choosing option 8, which is the MG jackpot. And as indicated early on in the week, I told you that once you see our faces today, you should start playing. So start playing now as many times as possible. You don't need any introduction to this game. You already know the drill. You know that the number of times you play would indicate if you would be the winner or not. So please start playing now. Play as many times as possible. If you choose option 2, today I won't give you Nkuko and Kete. So if you choose option 2, you will lose your money. Do not choose option 2. Choose option 8, which is the MG jackpot option. And one coupon today is not 5 Ghana cedi. No, one coupon is 10 Ghana cedis. Play as many times as possible to ensure that you're winning the first 2,000 Ghana cedis, the next 3,000, and possibly the last 5,000 Ghana cedis. Akable, when I ask you to dish out the money during the big issue, you don't do it. Today, you would have to change your ways because I need to give out this money. At what point are you giving the first 2,000 Ghana cedis? Before switching to the second topic.
No, before I close entirely.
Before you close.
Okay.
Yes,
I'll do that.
Are you sure?
I'll do
because
that.
Because people are playing. Okay, Shadrach will remind you, but do also remind our viewers during the big issue that they have to play so that they win the amount.
And don't play, we've blocked your number.
By the way, what are we considering for the big issue today?
We'll have a conversation. We'll have a conversation about the Great Coast situation. We'll talk about what can be done in the long term to ensure that we have stable power, such that trips in this manner do not interfere with the power system. We'll also talk about the NPP elections that is taking place on the 3rd of October. There is a poll that has been put out by Musa Dankwa that interestingly gives us a sense of which individuals are leading in terms of the chairmanship, the general secretary, and the organizer. There's a part of the survey that is very interesting, is that it does a pairing, what political science say, slate voting. So more or less like the various candidates. You know, in the survey, when you speak to one person, so like if I'm talking to Beatrice, they will ask Beatrice, who will you vote for chairman? Then they will ask who will you vote for general secretary? They will ask who will you vote for organizer? So what they are doing is that they are trying to figure out those who are picking a particular chairman, what are the other parent that they prefer? Just to give them a sense that in the minds of voters,
a sense of the team,
in the minds of voters, which people are they thinking are aligned? Yeah. So that is a part of it that I thought was interesting.
I found the chairmanship bit quite interesting, John Boadu leading. And I'm like, okay, he must have done some work there. What exactly is leading to
fair point, but if you look at the findings too, those who express no opinion, about 47%.
Oh, wow.
It's more than what each of the candidates are actually getting.
Yeah.
So that tells you that there's a large, significant number that are undecided.
Yes, they haven't decided
or they
yet.
don't want to express their choice at this stage.
Especially now that Wuntume is also, not in the race. At the
well, we don't know.
Well, he lost it.
The spokesperson told us 2 days ago that they will be picking a form and they'll file it.
Palgrave, good morning to you, and I feel your pain, and I love your loyalty. But then, of course, what's the other lawyer's name again? The one we engage all the time. He was also speaking that day, and he said, logically, or according to
Justice
law,
Abdullahi.
Justice Abdullahi, according to the law, even according to the constitution of the MPP themselves, it doesn't look like it is possible for Chairman.
Well, he says he believes in miracles.
Well, that's on the faith side. Palgrave Bachidanko says he believes in miracles. And I love the way he stood behind Chairman. Everybody needs a Palgrave in their lives.
I think he's been
everybody
very loyal
does,
to him.
Exactly. Everybody needs somebody like that. But anyway, miracles do happen every day. So let's see if this miracle would happen. Welcome to TV3 Newday, and welcome to this morning's segment. We'll switch on to the other side right after this.
Before we came to office, just about 6 billion was declared monthly into the cash waterfall. IPPs were receiving just about 42%. Because of the work we did together and the policy reforms that we implemented, today we declared close to about 15 billion every month into the cash waterfall mechanism. And almost all the IPPs receive about 100% of their invoice bills. So we are not billing arrears like it used to be. When we assumed office, the outstanding debt was about 80 billion cedis. We've also renegotiated with the IPPs, working with the PRC, and we've saved about $250 million again from there. So clearly, we are making significant progress. But I would urge you to strengthen the regulation of your sector. I know sometimes, as you strengthen the enforcement, you step on toes. But you have to step on some toes sometimes to ensure that you achieve your objective. Also intensify scrutiny of all the utilities, particularly their commercial performance. And when I say this, I zero down on ECG, because the ECG is the key link when it comes to the value chain in terms of the financial sector or the energy sector. Because if they don't get the money, it will be difficult to pay. I also encourage you that you let the consumer feel the presence of the regulator beyond tariff announcement. And like I said, you've been doing a lot, so I encourage you to do more. Also, deeply stakeholder engagement. You don't operate as an island. And so build consensus, work with people, and finally, let's support industrial competitiveness, particularly in relation to the president's 24-hour economy. We had a bit of some disturbance with power supply. When we had a major incident at Akosoko, after meeting the engineers, we had two options. Either to shut the plant down and build the control center in its entirety, which meant that the plant would have been off for 6 months, or put in this temporal structure or temporal mechanism and restore the power, albeit knowing that it would be a bit fragile. As minister, I had a decision to make, and I decided that we should go by a temporal measure whilst we put in place a permanent solution. And so engineers working around the clock have improvised a system to supply power from Akosombo. And for some months now, it has largely held. But because it's a temporal measure, occasionally when there is some frequency disturbance, it takes off Akosombo immediately to protect the system. And we are aware, and I didn't explain, but fortunately, the work that is being done to build the center or the control room is expected to be completed just next month. And so I would appeal to Ghanaians to bear with us. It hardly happens, but once in a while, when you have a major situation, sometimes even brand new cars, you get some challenges here and there. But let me appeal to Ghanaians that please bear with us. It was a very complex situation. We needed to think outside.
All right, welcome back. And that was the Energy Minister explaining to us what the situation that resulted in the power outage yesterday was and what the solutions are going forward. And we asked this morning that you tell us if your power has been restored or not, because yesterday, according to Gridco and of course, according to the Energy Minister, a little after 12 noon, major parts had now been restored. They had received electricity, but some of you are still complaining that you still do not have light. So please engage us on our WhatsApp platform. We'll be reading messages, as many of them as possible, to ascertain whether you have light or not. But with us on Zoom this morning is a conversation that Beatrice would be leading with an engineer.
Indeed. Justice Ohene Akoto, he's an energy expert. He joins us live via video call now. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, good morning to you, Beatrice, and good morning to your cherished viewers as well.
I want to read portions of the message given us by Gridco yesterday. The first paragraph says, the Ghana Grid Company wishes to inform the general public that at approximately 4:30 a.m. today, Thursday, 20th August 2026, the national power system experienced a major fault on the Akosombo Volta transmission line. And of course, that resulted, it said, in automatic tripping of the Akosombo generating unit and some thermal generating plant as part of the system's protection mechanism. This is not so different from what we saw the last 22 days when we had a similar major power trip, and they called it a major disturbance on the transmission lines as well. Now we're hearing the Energy Minister, John Jinapor, also telling us about an apparent temporary measure they put in place after the fire at the Akosombo unit. I wonder how you interpret these pieces of information being given us on the challenges we've had with the power sector over the last few days.
Yeah, so yes, I saw the statement that Gridco brought out and also listened to the minister's, press, what he spoke about. When you look at the report, yes, it talks about an automatic tripping. Minister mentioned it's as a result of frequency, which is understandable. I mean, usually if Ghana run at a frequency of about 50 hertz, if there's a little disturbance where the frequency goes a little above or lower than what we run, we result in some of the thermal plants going off, which is something that is understandable. A few weeks ago, when we had the issue, I came out strongly to say that, for me, I believe it was as a result of a frequency. I mean, Gridco later came out saying it was a result of lightning. I came out saying, for that, I have my reservations. I don't think Gridco is telling us something. I didn't really see why lightning could cause this. I came out clearly saying, if mostly Ghana, when we have a total collapse, it's a result of frequency. So I wasn't surprised that the minister said frequency yesterday. And I still stand by it that the previous one that Gridco came out, I still have my reservations. I think Gridco is not telling us something. From my point of view, and as a subject matter expert, I think that was also as a result of frequency. And it comes back to, okay, go ahead, yeah.
No, please. It comes back to...
And then it comes back to the question that I was asking. This is not the first time that Ghana has seen a total collapse or a power outage as a result of frequency fluctuations. We've seen it a number of times. The question is, what has Gridco learned from it? What are the lessons learned? And out of the lessons learned, have we developed a procedure that is more preventative rather than being reactionary? We've seen it several times. So what have we learned from it? Have we developed a procedure that is more preventative than more being reactive? we understand sometimes some of the issues are, beyond control. But then if it's even beyond our control, what are the rollback plans? Ideally, if you have power outages, to have a robust power system, it shouldn't take hours to be resolving some of this issue. Gridco should be able to give us a rollback plan on how to restore the system in minutes, in seconds. So I stated strongly that previously, Gridco should give us a comprehensive report of what actually happened, and also a roadmap on if in the future, if it happens, what are they going to do to restore the system in seconds and in minutes. We didn't really see that. So I'm calling strongly to Gridco that with what has happened again, they should give us a comprehensive report of what exactly was the issue, and also give us a report on lessons learned. We've seen it a number of times. So what are the lessons learned that Gridco has learned from, this total shutdown and the, shutting off plants as a result of frequency, and also give us a clear roadback plan that tomorrow, if you are going to have a frequency fluctuation, what are the rollback plan? How are they going to resolve the system in seconds and in minutes? This is not something that should be taking hours and then more explanation to be resolving. Most of the time, we put these issues on finances. We understand there's a financial bit within the energy sector, but the technical bit has to be, streamlined. This is a pure technical issue and inefficiency in the system that I believe Gridco can resolve.
You talk about technical issues, inefficiencies, and you've dismissed the assertion of lightning causing any major power outbreak. For the purposes of education, when we talk about frequency, what does it mean and what could be causing it?
So usually what we have in the Ghana power system, as I mentioned earlier, has to do with, we run at a frequency of 50 hertz. And mostly when we have issues within the power system, we've seen it several times. Usually when it happens, what Gridco does is that they take off the major loads, an example, the mines, sometimes VACO, and some of the bulk loads quickly to restore the system. Once the system is restored, they have something that they call automatic frequency load shedding, AFLS. When that happens and they take the heavy loads, they are able to stabilize the system and then quickly restore the system and then bring the loads back. This has been the practice. Gridco also does the forecasting. They have the tool to forecast within a day the amount of, power that we need for the demand and supply. So they have these tools, and then this is something that they've been doing over the years. So we shouldn't be at a point where when we are having some of this frequency issues, we will be able to trip in. We even get to the point of tripping generating units. This is something they've resolved over the years. Sometimes it has taken seconds and minutes, as I've spoken about. So for engineering and technical bits, the more you see an issue, the more you have to become more efficient in resolving it. So this is what we are calling to Gridco. We need to be more innovative. We need to be up to the task, and even yes, we move more even to the attitude that we exhibit towards some of this issue. It becomes more reactionary. We wait for some of these things to happen before we mobilize resources to resolve it. We need to move to the attitude of being preventative.
Mr. Akoto, you heard the energy minister say that because of the fire at the Akosombo area, they had to put in a temporary measure whilst they were working towards something that could fix it permanently. Doesn't that suggest that they are working on the problem rather than reactionary, as you put it?
Oh no, you see, this power outage that knocks off the complete power system was something that was happening before the power outages. So this is not a result of it was happening before the collapse of the substation. So this is not just something new that we are seeing after, the collapse of the substation. And even let me come back to the collapse of the substation. Most of the time, the minister and then everybody uses a word of ingenuity that, Gridco engineers have been, they've developed a way of, getting the system back online. I don't really see any ingenuity in this. I see that this is something that was, first of all, should have never happened. That collapse of the control system should have never happened. It was a pure inefficiencies in the system. I keep saying that you have a system that from the report that we had from the committee, it says that we had some transformers tripping. I mean, ideally, if you have a very good power system, you should be able to isolate the transformers that are close to the fault. We have what we call a short circuit coordination study, SCCS. So if we had gotten our short circuit coordination studies right, we would not be tripping transformers as it was happening. And even if we missed that, what caused the issue? We saw a fire outbreak. First of all, is the cables will get hot. If we had a very good maintenance system, where we IR scan our cables, we call it the IR scanning, we would have seen the hotspots and then quickly attacked it. Even if we missed that, when the cable started burning, you see smoke coming over. If you had a very good short circuit coordination system, it would have coordinated to trip the transformers that were upstream and isolated the one that were down over here. If even that failed, our engineering failed, and we had a very good fire sprinkling system, as soon as the issue happened, the sprinkler system would have come in to suppress the fire. So that was something that was totally failed. I mean, we don't have any justification of that. And until we solve that underlying issue, we are going to build an ultra-modern control center that we are saying, and we are still going to ban it. So that should have been something that should have never happened at all. And then if you lose your control center, what are we doing? They just plug it manually into the system to get us power again. So, I mean, as I see most of the time, we're talking about, some creativity and ingenuity. First of all, it was a mess that should have never happened. And we cleaning up our mess shouldn't be something we call being genius or ingenuity about. So I already have my reservations within that control center that was done. I think now what we are doing now is to feed it direct to get the power supply. So, I mean, when it comes to this control center, that is what I think. I mean, the minister is talking about we building something by just a month's time to be able to help. But first of all, that was something that should have never happened if we had our maintenance and then our engineering right. Gridco emerging from VRA has been in existence since the 1960s. So we don't expect this organization that is a mission critical infrastructure to be making some of these mistakes. If they need help, the African Sustainable Energy Center is ready to help. I mean, this is something that is a no-no and should have never happened. We shouldn't be patting our back for some of these inefficiencies and then the mess we've created in the system.
Mr. Akoto, if I get you correctly, you're linking the inefficiencies to some of the things you've mentioned, the transformers, among others. What would you say to critics who would argue that talk is cheap, perhaps, because you may not know how complicated some of these things may be when you're in the thick of it?
No, this is not talk is cheap. You see, I mean, this is something that any technical person should know. With the processes that I have outlined, it is something that we should know. If Gridco needs help on how to, have a short circuit coordination study for our transformers, as I mentioned, the African Sustainable Energy Center is ready to help. If Gridco is struggling on how to have an efficient fire suppression system, we are ready to help. And what does it take to have an efficient fire suppression system? This is not rocket science. It is not something that, it's something that is there. Even normal industries in Ghana are doing it. So this is not something that is rocket science. It's something that was missed that we have to look at and resolve. It's not something that is beyond us. We can do it, and we can do it very well. We just have to get the right people to answer the right questions. I mean, the maintenance team has to be up to par. The engineering team also has to be on their toes. Somebody has to be responsible for neglection, and somebody has to be responsible for things that were not done. So these are not things that are rocket science. These are basic activities that can easily, be resolved. We just need a very good somebody who can monitor it, and someone who can, put the maintenance and engineering teams on their toes. I think Gridco should set up, and then some of these things should never happen. I mean, we are in a system where anytime ECG wants to change a transformer, then the whole country has to go into power outage. I mean, we have normalized and trivialized some of these things to be normal. Ideally, when it comes to power systems, the last option that the engineer has is power outage, is what we call load shedding. There are alternative routes that we were even calling ECG to be able to give us redundant systems. Grid codes to introduce redundant systems, where in the future we are going to change the normal cable or just a transformer. We have to put the entire community out or something. That is, it's a no-no. That is the last alternative when it comes to power systems and electrical engineering. And these are basics. This is not a rocket science.
You talk about roadmap when we have some of these challenges. From your perspective, what should be the roadmap?
Okay, so the roadmap here is, like as I mentioned a few weeks ago, GRIDCO didn't give us that report, but now GRIDCO should give us a comprehensive report, exactly what happened. And after that report, they have to give us, we have seen it before, several times. This is not the first time we are seeing a trip of a power plant as a result of, now we are seeing because of the temporary measure. Before the temporary measure, we were seeing it. So they should give us, over the years, what has been the lessons learned. What have we learned from it? And also a roadmap on being preventative, that we don't have, that they are not going to be reactional. Finding measures to have a preventive measure, following their maintenance schedule holistically. Their load forecasting method and other stuff they need to tell us about that. A way when we are not going to be reactional, but more preventative. And aside that, they need to give us a comprehensive rollback plan. In case it happens in the future, what are the lessons we learned from this? What are the lessons we learned from the previous one that has happened, that we are going to quickly restore the system in minutes and in seconds? That is what we are calling for from GRIDCO. That if they give us that, then we can hold them responsible to it. If they had given us this comprehensive, roadmap, we would have held them accountable too. So for this one, we will let it slide. They should give it to us so that we know if it should happen again tomorrow, we can hold them to it.
We'll have to end it here. Thank you very much, Justice Ohini Akoto. He's an energy expert, sharing his thoughts with us. I know a number of you have sent in your messages, and Kukiti is going to help us bring them back to you. She's on the dashboard.
Yep, let's read them. And the first one says, it's from Suleiman from Agunaswed, when he says, we had light yesterday at exactly 8 a.m. The next message, I think, is for you, Beatrice. It says, good morning, team Newday. Bonjour, et toi, Beatrice? How do you respond to that?
Bonjour.
Okay. Ghana is seen as one of the great countries where electric energy is cheaper in this sub-region. But the way the doomsaw is going on now is so disappointing. Authorities must do something quickly to save those whom their business relies on this electric power. God bless you all. Mustafa Yamboni from Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso, sent in that one. Thank you for watching us from Ouagadougou. The power situation in Fumbisi in the Busa South District is too bad. Hassan Abugri sent in that one. Good morning, TV3. In fact, the power situation in my area, Garu, is very, very bad. Whether power outage or not, we always do not get light at midnight and at dawn. We, the citizens of Garu, are appealing to the president, the two MPs, that's Garu and Timpani, and to the Minister of Energy Commission to come to our aid in Garu as well as the entire Upper East region. All right. Wuga Norbert Elikem is his name, and he's from Mafi Amegakope at the in the Volta region. Says the power and network situation in my area is very disgusting. I don't really understand. ECG always sends messages for maintenance, yet they keep on turning off the lights. All right. Hi, Nana Kwame is my name. I live at Waja Old Barrier around Crown Liberty Hotel. And since yesterday, we haven't had light up until now. And he sent that message at 7 a.m. this morning. So I'm wondering why you do not have light. In my area, there's always power outage since I was born, but you did not mention the area. Next time, please mention or indicate the area in which you live. Our lights are on here in Tetegu. I commend the government and the minister for the swift intervention. Okay, forward, Zachary sent in that one. Good morning, my lights went off yesterday night around 8 p.m. and came back around 1 a.m. And you're reporting this from Edriso. Alex Durantis sent in that one. TV3, power in my area is relatively stable, except 3 days ago when the light went out from dawn till midday. I urge the energy minister to up his game to ensure stable power across the whole country. He's doing well. I encourage him to do better. Honorable Connie Apipe Ketu North sent in that one. I suggest ECG meters be sold like ordinary phones on the market so we can just walk to buy and fix so that everyone can have their own. I wish that. How I wish this was possible, but no, I mean, of course, it's not possible. Well, JC from, JC Yagaba says that the power in my area, Yagaba, was restored by 2 p.m. yesterday. Okay. Please, is the minister telling us the Akosombo fire was temporarily resolved? Why not fully resolved? Well, he indicated yesterday that they are still working on it, and by next month, which is September, they should fully resolve the situation. The power sector needs thorough scrutiny of their records to ascertain the actual cost of what they procure. And this one is from Michael Intiri in on what is this? Abuna, help me. Nwase. Yes. Okay, Nwase. All right.
Hey, I've never heard of that community.
I've never heard
before.
of it too. I wish I knew which constituency or which region that was or that is. Ghana has become a banana republic. How come almost the whole country was plunged into darkness without pre-information? The general public, to the general public, in a serious country, heads must be rolling by now. Well, yesterday we were told that it wasn't deliberate at all. It was a temporary situation which was resolved by 12 noon. Good morning, Cookie. We still do not have lights at Hacho, behind Nududu and the police container area. Wow. Well, what time is it now? It's 7:20. Hopefully it's been restored. Now, you sent this some 16 minutes ago, but hopefully you should have lights. Good morning to you, Cookie, and your colleagues. Chatting you from Takwa Aboso. In fact, over here, the lights are on and very steady 24/7. Abu Seidu Inusa. Abu, you are very lucky. God bless you and your fellow countrymen. Good morning, TV3. Please, my name is Amankwano Dan Otabil, a.k.a. Nidan, the real hustler from J. Krodwa Bodriasi Road. Hey, please, my light is very great. Respect. Everything is working properly. You know, he's typed it like he's talking to us. You understand? It says respect. Everything is working properly. God bless you all with a good job. Love this show and how TV3 is thinking about the nation Ghana. God bless you and long life to my big brother, Shatawale SM for life. Listen, you are in good spirits this morning and we love that for you. Thank you so much for your message. I love the fact that you are in good spirits. This one says, TV3 Beatrice. Hey, TV3 Beatrice. Okay, read that.
En bonne santé. I hope you are all in good health. Vous parlez en bon français. Merci beaucoup.
Why are you making me feel...
Bonne journée. Merci. Je me nomme Jaffi. Okay.
Paraphrase. What did
okay, so he is saying he hopes that we are in good health and that we are speaking good French, and he's wishing us a very good day.
I hate that I didn't take my French lesson seriously. I hate that I didn't take it seriously. By now,
merci beaucoup, Jaffi. Bonne journée à toi aussi.
Whatever, girl. Whatever. Okay, this one says, landlord, Bolga D-Line. It says that good morning, lawyer Joseph Akable, Cookie, and Beatrice. The entire Upper East region, Bolgatanga, currently has power fully. All right. And I think this will be the last one. There's light out almost every night in Pusiga. Wow, that's unfortunate. But ECG and Gridco are also working on it. Well, just to remind you again this morning that you could be the one winning 2,000 Ghana cedis, followed by another 3,000 Ghana cedis, and possibly the big one, 5,000 Ghana cedis this morning just by dialing *439# if you are a Telecel or MTN subscriber. Akable has promised that during the big issue will come the first 2,000 Ghana cedis. And remember, because it's our jackpot, you're not choosing option 2 today. You're choosing option 8, which is the MG jackpot option. Option 8, one coupon will cost you 10 Ghana cedis. So it means that if you play 10 times, that's 100 Ghana. If you play 20 times, that's 200 Ghana. And if I'm giving you 2,000 Ghana, I mean, it's okay to just invest 200 Ghana, right?
Yes.
Because the number of times you play will determine whether your number will recur on the dashboard for you to be the winner this morning. So please get in the game now. *439# if you're a Telecel or MTN subscriber. Cash Money Cookie, I am back, and it's raining cash right here on TV3 Newday. The technicians are happy because I said Cash Money Cookie is back, and it's
but
Friday.
But they are not allowed to play.
No, they are not allowed to play. But just in case you don't know, just because you are not playing, I'll give you Nkoko Nkiti. How about that? I'll give all the technicians here Nkoko Nkiti today.
It's a done deal.
Yeah, it's a done deal. And they know I'm good for it. You see, they're giving me thumbs up because they know how I will deliver. So Nkoko Nkiti to all the technicians in studio this morning. But remember to peck up your day the Milky Way with a rich, smooth taste of Peck Milk Shortcake. It is pure delight, and it's available everywhere in this country. Well, the preceding segment has been led by me, Cookie, Beatrice, and of course, Joseph Akable. But right after the break, Joseph Akable will be in the hot seat with our panelists. We'll be right back.
Hey, Mr. Naughty Politician, I'm speaking to you. Come down to your
control center in its entirety, which meant that the plant would have been off for 6 months, or put in this temporal structure or temporal mechanism and restore the power, albeit knowing that it will be a bit fragile. As minister, I had a decision to make, and I decided that we should go by the temporal measure whilst we put in place a permanent solution. And so engineers working around the clock have improvised a system to supply power from Akosombo. And for some months now, it has largely held. But because it's a temporal measure, occasionally when there's some frequency disturbance, it takes off Akosombo immediately to protect the system. But fortunately, the work that is being done to build the center or the control room is expected to be completed just next month. And so I would appeal to Ghanaians to bear with us. It was a very complex situation. We needed to think outside the box and come up with an innovative solution to hold power stability. It's true, today we had about 1 hour outage to about 1.5 hour outage for some parts of Accra and some parts of the country. But I can't compare that to having 6 months of Akosombo perpetually down. This phase is just a temporary phase. I'm sure that by next month, we'll switch back and we'll have a much more resilient power supply situation. Major incident at Akosombo. After meeting the engineers, we had 2 options. Either to shut the plant down and build the control center in its entirety, which meant that the plant would have been off for 6 months, or put in this temporal structure or temporal mechanism and restore the power, albeit knowing that it will be a bit fragile. As minister, I had a decision to make, and I decided that we should go by the temporal measure whilst we put in place a permanent solution. And so engineers working around the clock have improvised a system to supply power from Akosombo. And for some months now, it has largely held. But because it's a temporal measure, occasionally when there's some frequency disturbance, it takes off Akosombo immediately to protect the system. But fortunately, the work that is being done to build the center or the control room is expected to be completed just next month. And so I would appeal to Ghanaians to bear with us. It was a very complex situation. We needed to think outside the box and come up with an innovative solution to hold power stability. It's true, today we had about 1 hour outage to about 1.5 hour outage for some parts of Accra and some parts of the country. But I can't compare that to having 6 months of Akosombo perpetually down. This phase is just a temporary phase. I'm sure that by next month, we'll switch back and we'll have a much more resilient power supply situation.
That's the Minister for Energy and Green Transitions, Dr. John Abdullah there, speaking on the power situation in the country. It's time for us to have the discussion, and that is the first topic that we'll be delving into this morning. As always, remember that you can still participate in the jackpot. You have to just dial the short code that is coming up on the screen right now and get a chance to win some good money. How much are we giving out today? 2,000 and 3,000. So dial *439#, select option 8, which is the MG jackpot, and you can either win 2,000 or 3,000 cedis on a Friday. So interesting points there put out by the Minister for Energy there, and just a bit of context there. You recall on the 23rd of April, there was a fire that destroyed Great Coast Akosombo control room and its 161 kV switchyard, stranding more than 1,000 megawatts. The minister at the time called it one of the most serious disruptions in Ghana's energy sector. An interim control room was built. The Great Coast CEO subsequently inspected it and declared it as operational around 10th of July 2026, about 10 weeks after the fire. Now, we're also told that the full 1,000 megawatt capacity was restored as well by May. Then on the 29th of July, there was a nationwide disturbance, which we all experienced. There was a Great Coast statement that many of us have described as being vague at the time, because it only said that there was a simultaneous tripping of some generating plants. It didn't make reference to any location or what the cause of that tripping had been. They basically said that there was a tripping. And so that was a major incident that took place on the 29th of July. The minister ordered that Gridco to submit a full report on what had accounted for that particular tripping to the ministry. We also know that on the 20th of August, which was yesterday, a second major disturbance occurred around 4:30 a.m. At this time around, Gridco named the cause. They said it was a fault on the Akosombo Volta transmission line, which had tripped the Akosombo generating units and some thermal plants as well. Then the minister now comes to tell us that there's a permanent replacement control center that is still under construction, targeted for completion in September 2026. And this is what he says is the reason for the outages that did occur. And so you heard from Dr. Ohene Akoto in that conversation with Beatrice make the point about the fact that there are structural issues. He makes reference to the fact that if we even had an effective system in place, that fire outbreak should not have happened. Then subsequently to the effect it keeps having subsequently, where there's a challenge, it basically knocks off multiple transformers and we have outages in many parts of the country. He asked the question about whether that is a sustainable way of running our power system. And so this is a conversation that we'll be having this morning on the big issue. And joining me in the studio for the discussion, as always, Ebo Bachman is with the UP. Good morning, Ebo. Thank you so much for joining us, as always.
It's always a pleasure being here.
Yeah, Ebo's team, they don't have money like that, but they are buying players all over the place. They have the best player from the World Cup. He's playing for Barcelona, the best team on earth. Those who disagree can disagree.
I have two teams, don't forget.
Abonti Ebusian. The mysterious dwarfs. Also joining us in the studio is Kwame Janto. Kwame Janto is a lawyer. He's with the Convention People's Party. Energy analyst as well. He's also with AGI as well. He wears many hats. Senior, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
One thing I don't... Oh, good morning to our viewers. One thing I don't understand, why would anybody want to defile a 14-year-old handicapped girl?
To defile?
Why would anybody want to defile a 14-year-old handicapped girl? Why? And then what does the school do? They do what? They sack the girl.
The girl who has been defiled?
Yes. How? What's the thinking?
This matter.
What's the thinking? Two watchmen firing a young child. Does it make sense? What's the thinking? When there are plenty of women around, you can't go and chase the women. Small girl. And even if the girl now goes back to school, do you know the kind of pressure it's going to put her under? What kind of human beings are we?
Did they sack her as a disciplinary measure, or maybe they said she should go to another school because of the stigma?
Why do you even go down that line?
But let the education minister deal with this matter, I think.
In fact, the Ghana Education Service has already taken an interest in it. They actually issued a statement.
I don't understand it.
Yesterday, it says the management of the Ghana Education Service has received a disturbing report of an alleged sexual assault involving a student of Bogatanga Girls Senior High School, perpetrated by two watchmen of the school. Yes. Preliminary reports indicate that the student is a special needs student who is on medication. On the day of the incident, the student reportedly suffered a relapse and required medical attention. It was during this period that the alleged incident occurred. As an initial step, the two watchmen were arrested and handed over to the police for further investigation. In addition, management has interdicted them with immediate effect. Thorough investigations into the matter are currently ongoing. Based on the outcome of the investigation, management will apply for the appropriate sanctions in accordance with the GES code. And so this is one of the issues that we'll be discussing at 9 a.m. We'll hear from the Parent Teachers Association. We'll also hear from GES as well on this particular matter.
The headmaster or headmistress of that school,
you have to stay tuned in on,
should be interdicted.
We'll hear from the GES a bit later there. Also with us in the studio, I think you heard his voice briefly, Abraham Amaliba. Amaliba is with the National Democratic Congress, Director General National Road Safety Authority. Senior, good morning as well. Thank you for joining us.
Morning. But if that is what is in a boost, Janto's mind, what is in my mind this morning is that, look, why are we sitting down as a country and allowing one person to run down the judiciary? Why? And I'm talking about Afenyo Markins. I think that it is unacceptable for just one person to go on rampage, not sugarcoating his language, and just run down an entire institution. Mention the Chief Justice's name, mentioning judges' name, and attacking them. I have been invited 3 times to the General Legal Counsel Disciplinary Committee. What for? Not because I took a client's money and didn't go to court, or not because I defrauded a client. I have been invited to the General Legal Counsel 3 times just because I defend my party, NDC. And I need me boy. Afenyo Markin has a penchant ever since Tokono was taken out. Due process was followed. Afenyo Markin is behaving like his entire life going forward depends on Tokono becoming a Chief Justice. What is it? So I think that, I don't know, the judges are listening, they've heard it, they have a duty to protect that institution. Chief Justice Bafu Boni, you have a responsibility, and I'm talking to you now, to defend that institution. And if you don't do that and you leave in December, when your time comes, it will be one of the things that people will use against you. I think that you should take steps to let Afenyo Markin come and prove the allegations he has peddled against the judiciary.
And to the extent that he mentions the CJ directly, that makes it a bit tricky, and you may think that perhaps that's why the CJ may not want to directly be involved.
We have what I think, I'm sure when you were passing out from the law school, you have come through the doctrine of necessity. The doctrine of necessity is that he is the head of the institution. Nobody else can act. You cannot then go and bring them.
There's an option of anyone filing a complaint as well with the general.
No, but they have also heard. Don't they have their ears on the ground?
Okay.
So I think that it is important that Afenyo Markin either stops. It's not proper. He's in an institution of an institution such as a parliament. If somebody runs down that institution, will he be happy? So I think that the General Legal Counsel, and for that matter, the judiciary, should rein in Afenyo Markin and let him come and prove the allegations against him. Okay. Well, in this country, when the journalist said that judges met Akufo-Addo in Eburi, that house there, government house, what's the name of that house? Pediasi Lodge. That journalist was put in the cooler for how many days? For 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I don't know, 1 month. His name is his name something at radio. What's the name of that station? So I think that the whole exercise of protecting the judiciary lies within the judiciary itself, and they must be interested in ensuring that their integrity is protected.
And it's the last place of call for anybody to go for justice. And if people lose faith and confidence in the judiciary, what do we have left?
We have to find some means. I mean, those of you who know the Chief Justice knows how he handles some of these matters. Yes.
On that note, I read Proverbs 16:18. Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. This is my message to Afenyo Markin this morning.
Okay. Let's get into the energy matters, and by consensus, the decision is to start with Kwame Jantua, and let me come to him directly, Senior. We've heard from Great Co. We've also heard from the Energy Ministry. Is it fair to ask that are Ghanaians being given the facts as we ought to have it. And I mean, myself and yourself, we had a bit of a conversation and I was making a point that the initial statement from Gridco, the first time, it basically said a tripping. It didn't point to any line anywhere or anything. The second one, a bit more detail. But now subsequently, the minister is telling us that, well, the fire incidents which happened. If you go back and listen to the clip of the minister when the fire incidents happened and when they finished whatever changes they were making, he said power had been fully installed. They never told us about any temporary situation which is such that it is open to these tripping. All of a sudden, we've had the tripping twice, and we are now being told that it is the fire that occurred the other time. In terms of the public, with our limited knowledge and information that we have, that places a certain sense of doubt. You are in a position of knowledge and understanding. Are we getting the truth about what is happening now?
Power is fully installed. Does not mean there would not be tripping on the line. Even on normal times when everything is working, you get tripping on the lines. So the fact that the minister said power is fully installed doesn't mean we won't get tripping. Look, the control room fire that has burned a lot of the equipment that controls tripping is a main challenge to what is happening. That's why the minister had two options. We either wait and build a supersonic control room, or we put in a temporary measure for now. Now, the temporary measure is being put on. And I'm the legal counsel for them, the company that is doing it. And for what I know at the present moment, what is left is the suppression unit. That suppression unit, they are putting in a suppression unit so that in case there is any fire, it quickly douses it so that it doesn't spread like this one spread. And remember, in that area, in that enclave, you have factories right through that area, cement factories, all kinds of factories that take quite a lot of electricity. Definitely, because the control room is not 100% fit, you get tripping. And let me tell Ghanaians, this can happen again. Not until we finish the entire control room. Right now, what is really left there is the suppression unit that would douse any fire. If that suppression unit is not in, we can get a similar thing that happened. I was part and parcel of the team that investigated the Gridco fire. And it started from ends within the control unit. It started from two ends within the control unit, within the equipment in there. And if you see the ends that the fire started and the way the entire place was burnt to ashes, it tells you, if we don't have an efficient suppression system in place, let's forget it. It can happen again. This is more a technical issue than any other thing. It's technical. And if the minister says full, has been restored, it doesn't mean at this current moment where we stand in putting the temporary control unit in, doesn't mean there won't be any tripping. But I believe Gridco would monitor their lines efficiently to be able to stop any tripping if it happens, because it's the second time it's happened. But let's pray and let's hope that in monitoring those lines between now and the end of September, the unit that needs to come in, the suppression that needs to come in to help the place not catch, even if it catches fire, it will douse it, will be put in place. Because that was the time scale that was given to the company to put in the temporary measure.
Yeah, I mean, still on the minister's point, I mean, in terms of communication, when you tell us that you've installed, and I stay on that because you say you have installed, and you are telling us that does not mean that it will not be a tripping. That's fair. But in a situation where we've had two trippings now, and you now tell us that what you installed, you had two options of doing it either permanently, in which case we may have lost Akosombo perhaps for about 6 months. And this is information that you are giving us now that the second tripping has taken place. And that's why I make reference to the initial point when the resolution was done. We at no point were we told that this is a temporary fix and that there is a challenge that we need to deal with permanently.
So let me tell you, when the committee looked at the options, we were the ones who suggested that we need to put in a temporary measure now, otherwise Akosombo is gone. Okay. We can't use Akosombo. And when the minister came and the president came, they indicated that we need to build a modern control room. And we said to them that, yes, that is key. However, we still need to run Akosombo. Otherwise, we'll have a deficiency of power in certain parts of the country. So we had no option but to put it in. And let's face it, the time duration given, the company has been able to stick to that time duration. The suppression units that we are talking about, we are having to import it. We were going to ship it. Right now, we'd have to air freight it because of this particular situation. So okay. I can tell from what the discussions that have gone on that by September, all the units in the temporary control center we are putting in would be in place. However, once that is in place, we should, as government should quickly, and I hope they are doing that now, find the resources to put the modern control unit in place. Because this temporary unit, it cannot now become the unit that we are going to use till their kingdom come. It's going to be there for a certain duration of time whilst we build the new system. But I can tell and I can say that once we put this temporary thing in place, the kind of tripping that we have, I mean, once we put this temporary one in place now, it will control any tripping that is happening within the line.
All right. So my friends at the Energy Ministry, they are drawing my attention to a story from July to make the point that the minister had said that it was a temporary control room that was being built. Yes, that's not in doubt. The point was about the fact that it is not a permanent fix to deal with the possibility of what we are having now. Because now we've had two major trippings and we are being told that it's because of what we had put up, which is not permanent. And so that's the point I was making about it. A final question.
No, but remember that the temporary unit has not been finished yet.
Yes, in fact, in the set story,
it's not been
the set story yet. Actually even said September.
Yes, it's not been finished yet. And the last bit right now is the suppression unit that needs to come in for that to be fixed. Once that is fixed, we know any part of the line, if there is fire, the suppression unit will control
That's
it.
fine.
So the temporary unit has not been fixed. It's not complete.
It's not complete.
Let alone the main one.
The main one hasn't been started. The main one hasn't been started.
Just another question.
We had two options. Either to go straight and build a brand new one, but that means the Akosombo becomes redundant. But I'll put in a temporary measure so that Akosombo can still work and provide electricity whilst we now start building the new one. And we on the committee said it would be best for Akosombo to still run because it will generate electricity. Then put it put it put it on the side and build the new one. We'll be out of electricity for nearly 6 months to a year from Akosombo. So it is just an alternative to make sure that at least Akosombo is still generating
So this alternative is still under construction?
Yes. Hey. Yes, we would finish by end of September.
Okay.
But there's another time scale they gave us.
There's another question I want to ask in here. Is our generation, is it not too centralized? Basically, we have our generation units, either be it power plants or thermal, concentrated within the same areas, such that when there is a major incident on the source, it just affects multiple homes across different parts of the country. Is that a fair point to make?
When you say it controls multiple homes, every home is generated from a certain power base.
Yes.
So that is how the connection is. And what you want is scattered. If it's scattered, then that is even going to be worse. If anything happens, you have to be running through the country to make sure that you control where the scattering is. But if it's in one location, it's easier, you can monitor, and you can know exactly where it happened. How many weeks has it taken for them to restore power? 2 days maximum. It's because it's centralized. So there's nothing wrong in our power structures being in central positions, especially with the kind of industries that we have, especially in the Tema area and even in the Western region area.
Okay. Do I still have Engineer Ohene Akoto on the Zoom still? Hello, Doc. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes,
I mean, Doc, I listened to a bit of the interaction that you had with Beatrice. Maybe I'll start off with the last question I asked Senior in the studio here on the question of whether we should decentralize our generation or the centralized system that we're operating currently is okay for us. And the point I was making was about the fact that when there's an incident, it knocks off across several regions, basically. What's your own understanding of that?
Yeah, so when it comes to the power sector for Ghana, most of our generation plants are in the southern sector. That has a tremendous issue on us when it comes to the middle belt and then the northern belt. You see, we have to transmit to the middle belt, that is the Ashanti region, and then the northern. This is the reason why for some time now, we've seen a lot of issues in Ashanti region where they're having low voltages and other stuff. We decided to take a power plant there. Now, the minister mentioned early this year that there was another power plant that was also taken also to the middle belt to help with, some of the issues happening within Ashanti region. So for sure, the system has to be decentralized. I think it is being worked on. That is why some of, I think Senate is now moving to the middle belt to help with some of the loads over there. So the centralized, we having most of our power plant in the southern sector. It's not helping. You are going to have a lot of under voltages and low voltages in the middle belts and the northern belt because you have to transmit it over a long distance. So for sure, we have to. I think the plans to decentralize it is already in motion. As we lifted one power plant to Ashanti. Yeah. So that is something that we have to do. Yes, I think plans are underway to do that. Just that we need to expedite it more so that at least those in the middle belt do not have some of these issues. And if we have a lot of industries in the northern belt too, there's a time where we have to lift some of our generation plants to the northern as well, so that at least we have a more decentralized system.
Okay. How about the question of redundancy and the possibility of alternate lines as well?
Yeah, so you see, when it comes to the redundancy, we spoke about it strongly. In 2026, there should never be a case where if Gridco is running a line or changing a line or changing a cable or ECG is changing a cable, then we have to put the entire supply out of, it has to affect the energy security. That is a no-no. It should never happen. The last option that we have in power systems is load shedding. That is the last one. So we advocated strongly that Gridco and ECG should introduce a lot of redundancy systems in the system, so that at least if you are making any innovation, you don't have to impede power supply to the customer. And the narrative here is that, you see, the load of Ghana is going to continue increasing. We are going to continue to do changes within the system. So if we don't take the pain now to introduce redundancy, it means in the future, anytime we are going to change transformers, anytime we are going to run a line, we are going to go into power outages. And that is a no-no. We said that by close of this year, if we don't work on some of our power issues, Ghana is going to lose about $2 billion as a result of power outage. You see, in power system, we have two things. There's adequacy and reliability. When it comes to adequacy, our generation now is meeting the supply, the demand and supply. We're also adding about 1,200 megawatts to it. It's going to increase, the supply. That will be above the demand. So we will not have an issue of demand and supply. The issue will be reliability. And one of the issues, one of the way of, preventing some of these pocket issues when it comes to modifying the system has to be with the redundancy. And then let me touch on the fire outbreak. You see, Dr. Leajantua mentioned about the fire suppression system. I keep saying that the Akosombo issue that happened should have never happened. It should never, in 2026, never happened. Okay, the report from the committee mentioned that some of the transformers were tripping. I mean, they were not really coordinated well. And I kept saying that, you see, if we had a very good maintenance system, a very good maintenance system means that you have what we call IR scanning of your cables in the control center from time to time. With a very good IR scanning, you will see the loads that are, the cables that are becoming hot. So when you see them, then you do what? You make sure you isolate and resolve those things. And even if we missed a holistic IR scanning of the system, and then we saw smoke coming out, we have something called short circuit coordination study. That is purely technical. With that one, if you have some of these faults coming up, the transformers upstream will trip. So that the fault can be contained just in the lower side. And this is a purely technical blunder that Gridco didn't get right. Gridco came out of VNR. VNR has been existed around the 1960s. So there's no way we could have missed this. And even we missed that short circuit coordination study. What happened to the fire sprinkling system? As soon as the fire came out, the fire suppression system, what happened to it? We don't need ultra-modern, control center to have a very good fire suppression system. This is something that we can do. It's not rocket science. It's a matter of having IoTs. You can even have a system that as soon as we sense smoke, the fire suppression system comes on and sprinkle on wherever it is. There are even models where we can develop where as soon as it suppresses it, it's going to send text message to Ghana Fire Service, send text message to the managers to quickly prompt them and then come and contain the fire. So that is something we totally failed, and it should have never happened. Most importantly, in a mission critical facility like Akosombo, that is a no-no. So it's something that should have never happened. It's happened now, so we have to learn from, we need to put people on their toes. Okay. The maintenance team in Gridco, the engineers in Gridco have questions to answer.
Okay. Doc, hold on for me, yes, Senior.
Unit that we're bringing in to make sure that what he's talking about happens in terms of any fire that comes in.
Okay. Just briefly on the redundancy point, and I was asking him about, I remember when MPP took over, they were complaining that we had a lot of installed capacity that we did not even need. What has become of all of that? And we are still having a conversation about redundancy at this point. I remember they said power purchasing agreements that had been signed, so many of them, that what has become of, because if that is the case, then the redundancy, we should not be talking about redundancy now.
Yes, we should talk about redundancy, but we have to be able to consume any redundancy that comes into the system. We have to be able to. There are quite a lot of areas where electricity is redundant in terms of provision. So it's important that we are able to handle whatever redundancy we have in the system. I don't think it has to be a political issue where we talk about it politically. It's a technical issue, and it's an issue of money. With redundancy, don't we lose money? We lose money. So we've got to find the right way of doing it. But most importantly, Gridco needs to be funded well. Gridco needs to be funded well. Because if Gridco is funded well, any challenges that come within the system, they can handle it. It's very important. Okay. The energy sector itself needs to be funded well. And this is where some of us feel we should go back to the Revenue Management Act for the oil industry and look at how we have put in the priority areas. I think we should go back to a situation where we use that oil money now for particular projects. So this energy bit like that, we know we have oil money there. Let's use it, do it once and for all. Hospitals, once and for all, not drag it.
Yes, but in fact, it's something that Piak has complained many times, that we spread it across. A lot. Education, agriculture, here and there.
All that kind of stuff.
We are doing so many
things. I remember when we discovered oil and we were doing the Revenue Management Act, some of us said to President Kufuor, let's use the oil money for strategic projects. So if we need hospitals, we are going to build super modern hospitals in 8 regions so that you stop what? The migration.
Okay.
If we had used that to do that, then we can even point to a hospital and say, this is oil money. Okay. This project, oil money. This project, oil money. But if you straddle it so thin with the 13 areas in the bill where how you can invest the money, then you end up not doing anything.
Okay. All right. Let me come to Ebo now, and Ebo, I mean, hearing from Doc and Senior as well. I mean, what do you think is happening? I mean, it does appear that there is a bit of a bigger structural problem that we have to sort out.
Yeah, I mean, the technical people, have spoken. I will speak as a consumer. And as much as possible, I think if there's one area that we need to pay much attention, we need to invest heavily, is the power sector. The whole economy runs on the power sector. Our very lives largely depends on power. And so if there's one area, I think we have not done much in terms of investments over the years. I think it is the power sector. That is why we keep having the kind of problems we are having. You see, the problem, the challenges are even bigger than what we have been made to know. I mean, when engineer was speaking, he mentioned the issue of reliability. It goes beyond reliability. I mean, yes, as I said, I will be speaking as a consumer. My concern is even the issue of affordability. Are you getting the point? So, for me, the most important thing for us is to look at the whole electricity value chain and see how we can improve on each one of the stages within the chain. Because, I mean, let me go back and commend the engineers who were able to put together, improvise for us to have the lights when we had that unfortunate incident. What they did was fantastic. I think much as we want them to do more, we also need to commend them for what they did. And the fact that from next month, you're going to put in place a system or mechanism that will ensure that this tripping that we're having, trippings we're having are no more, is also quite good. But we need to look beyond this. The problem, generation is just one leg of the problems. The issue of transmission, we know the issue of distribution, and even consumption. Sometimes you don't pay much attention to the area of consumption. This morning I was discussing with someone that sometimes people don't use electricity, they waste electricity. And because they waste electricity, it always has effects on what is available at the national level. Are you getting the point?
Yes, I guess so.
Yeah, because we generate electricity to sell. Yes, the fact that somebody has bought electricity doesn't mean the person can use the electricity anyhow. Because if you use it anyhow, certainly it's going to have consequential effects on what is available for others to use. So I think our investments should go into transmission infrastructure, modern transmission infrastructure, distribution infrastructure, because it is not enough to generate, only to generate the power. There has to be efficient transmission. Yeah. You move what you've generated efficiently to the distribution center. Then from the distribution center to the consumer, that is where the issue of reliability and affordability comes in. Are you getting the point?
Yes.
So yes, what the minister said was self-explanatory. I don't think we need to belabor it. I think the conversation around this issue should be framed devoid of the usual political football. I mean, this is a serious national security issue. Power is national security. I see power as national security issue. And so when we are discussing it, as much as possible, it's better we involve the engineers more than the politicians. The politicians will play the political football. They won't provide any concrete solution. They won't, because they want to score political, they would just muddy the water. But if you engage the engineers, for example, what this engineer said this morning. I mean, he made a point, very fantastic point, that in 2026, some of the problems we have, we shouldn't have them. It means we have not invested in.
Our system is basically fragile. Yeah. Whenever there's any incident, we always have to come to running around and. I mean,
it means we have not invested that much.
Okay.
We still have a long way to go. So I will leave this one for the technical people, for engineers to say. But as a consumer, my concern is that, especially as a nation that wants to develop on the back of industrialization, always the issue of affordability is very important because of cost of production issue and even cost of living issue for the ordinary Ghanaian. So that is where we should strive to get to a place of affordability, not just availability and reliability. So, as I said, I mean, I talk about technical issues. I don't want to go much.
Kamaldeen Abdullah is with the New Patriotic Party. He's also joined us in the studio. Good morning, Kamal. Thank you for joining us as well.
Good morning, Council. How are you?
I'm very well. I mean, I've seen a story. Your ranking member, deputy ranking, I think, on the Energy Committee is calling for GridCo and the Energy Minister to appear before Parliament to explain the recurring nationwide power outage. I mean, is that a fair description, recurring?
It's not recurring. It is. On the 29th of July, we had a similar situation. Okay, so on the 20th of August, we're having it just within the space of 1 month. If the whole country is plunged into blackout, you expect that we should be quiet about it.
The whole country?
Some parts, major parts of the country. So major parts of the country.
Politicians will play politics.
It's not politics, please. I've just started. I've not even done politics. So ask me a simple question. Whether it is
I think he's made a point
to make a call.
It's most parts of the country.
And I'm saying that it is very important because they are there to represent us. Yeah. And they are supposed to produce questions and then we get answers from those who are supposed to handle the affairs. So I don't think it's anything out of place. So your question was whether it was right, and I said yes, why not? Okay. Within 1 month, we've had this problem. So if it's recurring, of course, he's right.
Yes.
Okay, so if that happens, can we call those who are supposed to explain to us?
On both occasions, there were statements from GridCo. On both occasions, we've heard from the minister as well.
If the statement was enough, we would not have sat here to be professing for the solutions. We just sat here. You are asking us. All of us are trying to bring our opinions, which will shape what we're supposed to do. So if a member of parliament, and for that matter, a deputy ranking or ranking, says that it is important we call those who are supposed to be there to explain to us as Ghanaians, I don't think it's out of place. So what's politics about this?
Okay.
Anyway, but let's see. Power. For me, the engineer made a very profound statement. He said in 2026, changing a line should not affect a consumer at all. And who is the consumer? In this case, our factories are consumers. Our manufacturing sector are consumers. Ourselves here, we are consumers. We should not reduce it to the person who is supposed to be in his bedroom with an air conditioner to sleep. Okay? His statement there is profound. It tells us that we should not do anything that would hamper or hinder our productivity because there's no power. That's basically what the engineer is trying to tell us. Because if we sit here and say we want to industrialize, we want to have factories all over, we want to make sure the manufacturing goes on, we don't want to import, all you need, the basic thing you need is power. That's the only thing. Without power, adequate power, your economy will go crashing. So I agree with him when he says that, look, in 2026, the excuse should not be we want to change a line, therefore all of us go off, or some parts go off. I agree with him. Why do I agree with him? We go to Parliament, present a budget, tell the people of Ghana how much we are ready to spend on power. And we have planned with the Minister of Energy. We've planned with other agencies of the energy sector. So what affects us? And when Ebu makes a statement that, look, yes, we shouldn't play political football out, I agree with him. But to a large extent, the politician must also be brought in because decision-making in terms of money to be injected into making sure we have stable power will come from the politician. In terms of policies that will have to put to be in place to get the engineers to work will have to come from the politician. So it's a two-tier thing. if not 3 tier, because we are also consumers, and he's even added us. So we're supposed to ensure that all these sector stakeholders, everybody plays his role or her role properly. Why? We have tried to diversify our grid. Initially, we had only hydro that we were relying on strongly. We've moved to thermal now. We are adding solar now. So how optimum is that diversification? That's the question I want to ask. We sit and we talk so much, and we do not technically try to implement what we want to do. Look, if solar was made so cheap and better, get proper engineers here to go to either China or Russia, or wherever they have that, knowledge, to study properly, come and then tell us, teach us, we the consumers, especially those of us at homes, with lights, with fan and whatever, what can we do to have cheap power with stable solar? So that the grid, the national grid, would actually not be burdened or overburdened. Have we done this work? No. All we sit down, we have an office at the Ministry of Energy in charge of green energy. They call it green energy or whatever resource or renewable energy.
Green transition.
Green transition. We have an office like that. What have they done? What is the capacity building? What's the education? How many engineers went out? So when we pilot, say, Wager, the entire Wager homes are going to be solar. Say, Oyarifa, the entire Oyarifa is going to be solar. They will not be part of the national grid. Have we done this work? We've allowed only private people to go and buy whatever they want to buy, if they can. Come and tell you, if you want to make your house solar, you come and pay 200,000, 300,000. How many of us have 200,000, 300,000 to change my house from national grid to solar? I think that the government of the day must be deliberate about it. Yes, it's not politics, but these are policies we need to put in place so that a consumer who can provide, for example, 50,000 cedis, 30,000 cedis, will be able to say that my lights can be on in the house, my fan can be on in the house, my air conditioning can be on in the house, through solar. National grid will not be burdened. These are the things we need to do if we want long-term solutions. Because the sun is there, Western. And the last time I checked, we were told that our sun is so good for solar. Okay. I know some houses that have actually been on solar.
Okay.
We have not worked on this. Then we come to our thermal. How well have we ensured that our thermal production is also effective and optimal? Sometimes we don't even, they tell you they don't have fuel. Again, money matter, like Lloyd Jantua said. Fuel will only be gotten when there's money.
Okay.
Then the energy sector is that says that we don't have money. We are saddled with debt. Okay. The government of the day tells that when they came, less than 2 years, they have paid over how much? Is it some billions of dollars already in debt? The last government also said in 2024, we also paid some billions of dollars in debt. What are we doing as a people to ensure that we have stable power? So I think that, look, it's a holistic approach that we need to have this. Okay. And like I want to agree with Ebo and want to agree with, we should not go the political way so much about it. Okay. Because energy is something that would help us from your manufacturing, from your whatever to whatever. If we do not do it well, I think we're all going to be affected as it were.
Okay. Yes. Come out.
Yeah.
From your commentary, I would also want to know, in terms of what you're saying, you guys just came out of power. Where did you take it from? What did you do so that this government can now take it and then move on from what you're saying?
You see, I've always said that governance is a continuum. And like
yes, it's perpetual succession. Yes.
Yeah, of course. And that's why I said that even from independence till date, or from 1965 when we had Akosombo till date, okay, a lot of efforts have been made to ensure that we have optimum supply of power, as it were. But is it adequate? I say no. Now, question is narrowed to only MPP right now.
On the solar side of things that you're talking about.
I am aware that under our watch, there was this, like I mentioned, this Office of Renewable Energy at the Ministry of Energy. Basically, it was created, and there was an officer there, and they were supposed to do a lot of work on it. I cannot have details because we need to get a technical person in that office. I'll call on TV3 to do that. If we have an officer in charge of renewable energy, how far have we gone? This explanation will be given to us. But I believe that some work was done by the new patriotic party, as it were.
That's right. Let me come to AB now. AB, I'll give you the final word around the table. I mean, from about 14, 15 years ago that I started doing journalism, I've always said renewable energy, solar, and I'm still hearing about it once again.
So what's your question? If not asking my question.
The question to you is that why is it that successive governments, you are failing to do what we all know should be done? Because me, I've been hearing solar, renewable energy. In fact, as far back as 1960, Nkrumah was even thinking nuclear.
Yes.
As far back as 1960. And 2026, we are still discussing alternate sources of power, like it's something that is so new that we should be done. I mean, we have basically failed each other.
I think it is being done, but at a slow snail pace, but it's been done.
I agree.
You see, amongst my people, they say that when they say fire has gutted cattle, you don't come asking where are their tails. You get it? If fire has gutted cattle, you can't come and say, but where is the tail of the cattle?
It's gone.
Everything is gone. There's fire. There's fire that gutted that facility. And that is force majeure. There was a committee that was put in place to find out whether it was somebody's handiwork. You remember?
I was part of that committee.
They came out and said they couldn't find somebody's handiwork in it. Now, you have the opposition holding press conferences and saying that the problem there is not the fire, but it's what? Policy failure or whatever. How is that so? How is that so? Because I remember vividly, some of you were here. We will be sitting here talking, and then some guy from IPP will call. We are going to put off in the evening. We'll put it off. I remember during your time. Have you people forgotten?
No.
We were here. We were here.
Let's allow him.
We were here.
Let's allow him.
Stop it. Stop it.
Please, let's allow him.
Stop it. If it's paining you, go and take paracetamol. Go and look for chest paracetamol. Go look for paracetamol. You were here when they will call. This government has come gradually. I think that matter has been solved, and the people are no more threateners. Then this government, through John Jinapor, and I told you that John Jinapor, I've always been telling you that he's the right man for that position.
He knows it inside.
He knows the industry very well.
I agree with you on that point.
Yes.
If we didn't have John Jinapor there, things would have gone bad. So, step by step, we are trying to rectify the situation that they left us with. Now, if any pin falls, if any issue happens which does not warrant a press conference, this will call the media and try to cause a mountain out of a molehill. So I am of the view that it is important that as a people we have patience for the energy minister and the ministry. Because are they on the right track? They are on the right track. That is what is important. You see, I'm not going to make comparisons. But
you have already.
You have, exactly.
You're talking about the IPP situation.
From this
No.
In the past and now.
When I say I'm not going to make comparisons, the next sentence that comes, is what we are talking.
Okay.
I didn't start in the morning by saying I'm not going to make comparisons, and I came and I was making comparisons.
Subsequently.
That is I'm not going to make comparisons.
Subsequently, okay.
I'm not going to make comparisons. Okay. But there are some countries in this sub-region who don't see lies the way we see it. When they come here and we complain that there's power outages, they laugh at us. They are saying that we are way miles ahead of them. So, what am I saying? Let's commend what we have. We are behaving like it's Armageddon.
Oh, really?
You get my point? We are behaving like it is so shambolic.
It is.
You get my point? So let's commend what we have. Let's ask for more. Let's ensure that moving forward, the things that we all have said on this platform, the green transition, the solar energy issue, will all come on board. But I don't want a situation where you come in the morning and lament as if the situation is so dire that we are unable and we are being sophisticated, being suffocated.
Okay.
That's my point on this matter.
Okay.
So fire has gutted a facility. Was it true? Yes. Is it true that there was a makeshift facility? Yes. Is it true that we were told that that makeshift facility will not be so robust, but as we go forward and they improve it will become robust, we were told. So what is this whole about?
The time scale given was September.
September, we are now in August. And they say So me, hold John Jenapo responsible. If in September, we come back here and he's repeating the same thing.
Okay.
You get my point? Hold him. Okay. And I'll help you hold him. Even though I'm praising him this morning. What is fair must be told. What is also not fair must be told.
Okay.
And this whole lumping of everybody and making it like the country is in chaos. When in your situation, yes, you came here, you said the whole country is in darkness. What behavior is that? What kind of lies are that? You should look. It's okay. You let's go.
Doc, I'll give you the final word briefly on what the next steps should be, Engineer Doc.
Yes. So I think let me just add this to. I just wanted to add this to it. So, in as much as we believe there's a financial bit within the energy sector, I mean, I agree with that. That has to be done. There's a technical cleanup that we have to do. No matter the amount of investment that we invest into the energy sector, without the technical cleanup, we are going to find ourselves still in trouble. An example is the fire outbreak at the Akosombo substation that I mentioned. We don't need a multi-million-dollar fire suppression system. All we needed was a basic fire suppression system that can solve the problem. When you go to our normal industries, we have fire suppression systems over there. So we don't need multi-million dollars to build a fire suppression system. When it comes to the transformer stripping, cascading, I mean, not coordinating well, that is a pure technical issue. These are input that has to be inputted by the engineers to be able to, trip in a coordinated way. That is strictly technical. When it comes to the cables that were not IR scanned well, that is attitudinal. We have to uphold to a maintenance culture that is holistic. If we are going to build an multi-million or multi-million-dollar new substation, and we still do not follow our maintenance culture holistically, we are going to bend it as well. So the finance bit is there, but we need to put the technical men on the toes. And on the solar and the alternative sources too. Ghana is very viable. We have the SOA report as way back as 2010 when the Swiss and the World Bank came to measure even the wind within Ghana. We saw places like the Afram Plains. We have a report. So even when it comes to wind, we are very viable. When it comes to solar, we are very viable. We just have to, there are policies, just that we have to find a way to implement them. So that is what I was saying.
Okay. Thank you very much, Engineer. Engineer Justice Ohene Akoto is the founder of the African Sustainable Energy Center, joining us this morning with his perspectives on the energy situation here in the country. Yes, Ebo, briefly.
Yes, I think the issue of mini dams. There's this engineer, Awatri, who has designed a mini dam on Uweja. I think the Uweja the river to generate electricity for the area, the people of the area. I think such people should be. I mean, he can be invited by the ministry, or he can send his proposal to the ministry, and for consideration. I mean, you see, one other area we need to look at, if you're able to deal with this issue of technical and commercial losses, if you're able to deal it well, effectively, I think it will also help us to have more power availability. Because we are told about 30%, between 20 to 30% of what we generate, we lose it through technical and commercial losses. And if we're able to do that, then we wouldn't need even to put up a new plant, but we can still supply.
In fact, there are places that it costs more to take electricity and in terms of the recoveries, because a lot of them are lifeline consumers basically. So we spend a lot of money to take the electricity there, and we basically don't get anything. But that's why it's a social commodity. It's the reason why we are not.
But there's this conversation. ECG. I want to ask.
The only solution.
You know, Public Accounts Committee had give us some expose on ECG. I don't know what has become of it.
Yes, they need to update us. Yeah, they're missing cables and all of those issues.
No, not even that one. Oh, the one that the management.
Okay.
They budgeted for a certain amount of money to be used, and they ended up using more than twice the amount without the board's approval.
That's right.
And that issue should be
let's briefly talk about the New Patriotic Party and wrap up. And we know that the party, they completed the election of the regional executives. The next that is coming up is with that of the national executive election that will be taking place shortly. And there's this poll that has been put out by executive director, the Global Info Analytics, actually, I must say, Global Info Analytics put out that poll, and its executive director, Musa Dankwa, will be joining us. I think we have him on now just to talk about it. Let me just run you through interesting parts. So John Boydu leads with 27% first choice support ahead of Boache Jako at 15% and Paula Foko at 10% as well. And General Secretary Justin Kodua Frimpong, I'll come there. Justin Kodua Frimpong is way out ahead at 36%, more than a triple his nearest rival, Eugene Impia at 10%. And National Organizer Titus Glover at 23%, ahead of Salah Mustafa at 14% as well. Good morning, Musa. Thank you, Mr. Damka. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Great. I want to start off with something that I noticed. Nearly half of your respondents basically have no opinion. They did not express an opinion with regards to any of the three races. Is that not unusually high? And or perhaps is that to say that at this stage they are not clear in their minds who they are voting for, or maybe they just don't want to express at this stage of the campaigning?
Right, thank you very much. Let's first look at the sample. The people we engaged were MPP sympathizers or MPP voters. However, 75% of these people we engaged are also card-bearing members of the party. So if you see high level of people who have no opinion as to who should lead MPP, it suggests that the candidates have not availed themselves nationally. The people sending their messages to them directly, but perhaps they have been focusing on meeting groups rather than speaking to the generality of MPP people. It clearly suggests that the approach they are adopting now is only meeting the actual delegate who will vote, but the rank and file of the party nationally are not really in tune with what's going on and what they have to offer.
I'm sure if you are, your report, your last two tables, I thought those two tables were very interesting. And if you look at it closely, we see that more or less you were looking at the choice of chairmanship and how it relates to the other positions in terms of general secretary and organizer. And we see that Justin Kodua's numbers are nearly double among John Boydu and Boache Jako's supporters compared to his overall figure. With regards to Titus Glover as well, we also see that his numbers also nearly double among Jako's backers as well. Is that to say that in the minds of those you were engaged, they are more or less pairing already in their heads that this is the kind of chairman they want, this is the person, national organizer, secretary? Is that a fair appreciation of those two tables to start with first? Okay, I think we have lost him there. When he comes back, we'll get back to him there. But let me come to the studio. Maybe let me start with you. It's your party. Yeah. What do you make of what is playing out at this point in time? It's his party, isn't it? His party.
First of all, when was this poll conducted? According to Musa Dankwa, between the 10th of August and the 12th of August. Now, just listening to him briefly, he says he spoke to MPP people. Yes, I wouldn't begrudge that fact. And possibly MPP delegates. You see, how it works in our party is that the constituency executives, who we have now lifted the number from 17 to 19, okay, would have to elect the regional executives. Then the constituency executives and the regional executive would come together, come to national and national executive and national council of elders to build a complete, delegate-based system that will go now to elect our national officers.
But
from the 10th...
Does the delegate system work now with the Supreme Court's...
it has, of course. The Supreme Court has not been triggered yet. I think it has not.
When is it going to start?
Yeah.
No, they said within a year. They said you should make sure that within a year.
The data must be. So, of course, it's not within a year. When was it? I mean, let's by the way, let me explain this. So the point I'm trying to make is that between the 10th to 12th of August, there's a likelihood that those people sampled by Musa Dankwa were not executives of the party.
Okay.
Possibly. Because we did the election for constituency election. I mean, it was between 10th, no, constituency was between 10th, 11th, and 12th of August. And that was just around the time he was also doing this. Who was an executive? Who did he talk to? We can't tell.
I get you.
That's one. Then two, we just got the regional executives in place.
Yes.
Okay, who also will be part of the delegation. We now have national and council of, for those that are there already, as it were. You get what I mean? So basically, these are the people that if you sample within them, you will have a clear picture as to what the direction goes. Okay. But that notwithstanding, it's not to say that the sympathizers of MPP cannot have an input, okay, into as to who is supposed to be leading the party or not.
Okay.
That notwithstanding. But I'm just trying to make it clear that we did not actually maybe speak to the delegates who are supposed to make the choice, as it were. Now, what we want to do as a party is to have a party that would be all-inclusive. Irrespective of who leads the party, let's all come together and then play the collective. Make sure that the party is formidable, strong, and ready to fight for a public election in this country. And which I tell you, we are poised to doing that. We are sure of what we're going to do. Whoever emerges as a leader, with a great respect, we're going to work with that person to ensure that the party gains strength, as it were.
Okay. Mr. Dankwa is back on the line. Mr. Dankwa, can you hear me? Hello, Mr. Dankwa.
Hello.
Yes. I was asking about your last two tables, and I was saying that I found those two tables very interesting. You basically, you are trying to tell us, because when you speak to one person, you ask the person three questions. Chairman, who are you going for? National organizer, who are you going for? And you also ask about who are you going for in terms of secretary. And so what you did was you look at the chairman and how it relates. And I'm saying that looking at the outcome, it appears that Justin Kodua's numbers nearly double among John Buedu and Boache Jako supporters compared to his overall figure, whereas Titus Glover's numbers also nearly double among Ejako's backers as well. Is that a sign that the people you interacted with, at least, they are in their minds pairing the candidates on a certain line? Is that a fair appreciation of those two tables?
Precisely. That's what the table is supposed to show. You could see that in the national chairmanship, there's a bit of a leader leading the pack. Or we're trying to look at the other races within the lens of the chairmanship race. And what you see is that there is unanimity across people who are voting for Boache Jako, Afoko, and also John Buedu when it comes to party general secretary, which means that it is more likely, even in the minds of the ordinary MPP supporters, that Justin Kodua may be the person they prefer. Doing the same thing for the national organizer, it also puts Glover ahead, but not by much compared to that of Justin Kodua. So you can see clear pattern in the minds of people who we spoke to. Now, one of the panelists mentioned that these people are not going to vote. We have not said these were delegates. When we release the report, kindly look at the sample frame. The sample frame is very important to understand what we're trying to do. We are saying that we want to see who the NPP people prefer. We didn't say who would you vote for. So the question we put to them, not who would you vote for, but who would you prefer? Wouldn't any entity be keen in knowing who their base prefers? Shouldn't that be an information that is useful? And also, statistically, look, we have seen in the past that the views of ordinary MPP voters on the street always aligns with the vote of, the views of those who normally vote. So if you are a statistician or somebody who's looking for further evidence, without getting the data that we have to sample, which we are still waiting for, then it tells you that if we have a strong correlation between the views of these two groups, then it means that what happens in this mind of in the mind of these people could be what will be happening in the minds of those who will actually vote.
Okay, and maybe a final point, but just one step back on the no opinion bit. I see that regions like Ashanti, Oti, Upper West, Western North are above 60%. And so your point that you made earlier on, it may be fair to say that the campaign is not really touching those areas. I mean, there are fair extrapolation to make.
That. I think nationally there's high proportion of people who have no opinion. Maybe it's lack of visibility nationally among these candidates when they are campaigning. They are campaigning focusing on those who are going to vote. And it's also important that you sell yourself to the generality of MPPs supporters, because they are the people who are coming to lead eventually, not just the executives. So maybe the visibility is not very strong among the general party folks.
Let me come back to the studio now, and Ebo, I mean the last two tables that I was talking about. So basically,
but before you come to Ebo, I think let's make it clear. Musa says that look, he is actually not speaking to delegates.
No, he's clear.
I mean, I want
clear in the report as well. So
and I just told you there's a trend how leaders are choosing in our party,
that's fine.
as it were.
I mean, that's
but in generality, he spoke to MPP members according to him.
Basically, if you're a member of the party, should you not be interested in what the generality of the party
you should be interested.
Generally?
You should be interested.
I don't know why you want to push it that it's not the delegates.
No, we want clarity. I mean, that's the kind of convention.
So in fact, the delegates should be concerned about what the generality of the party is feeling on who they should elect. I mean, the last two tables I was referring to. So basically, in simple terms, the alignment seems to be that those who prefer either John Boadu or Ejako, they would rather have Justin Kodua as the general secretary, and they will have Titus Glover as the organizer. Then you have Sylvester Tete, Mustafa Salam on the side of Afoko. That's how those last two tables give a sense of what is playing out in it. Would you say that things are fair and taking shape in the right direction? Or MPP?
You should be asking about his 31,000 people. This man has no business.
No, we are discussing MPP now. Yes, it will
be. About his 31,000 people.
I'm not today.
What point are you making?
Yes,
the whole time to his party, and then these people, they should all be quiet and walk out. Oh, you want NDC to come and talk to us?
That would be in a republic where the MPP is contesting alone. When we get there, we'll do that for you.
31,000 people talk. Ask you about UP.
You see, there's a reason why you lost that election by that margin, and one of your leaders, Oseche Mensebonso, has alluded to that. You should know why you lost. You are still talking, and you are still talking against UP.
How will the first party to lose?
I still talking about against UP.
NDC lost and came back.
Please allow him.
What point?
You see, last week I made a point, and I said, MPP has already made two mistakes. And Afenyo Makin vindicated the point that I made. I said the leadership of the party in parliament.
Is that what you've asked him?
Hey, are you the one to tell me how to speak?
No, Council, no.
No, I think you should allow him.
Ask him to talk about polls.
No, please hold on. No, come on.
Are you the one?
Allow him.
No, are you the one to tell me how to speak?
Please allow him. Just hold on. Yes, Ebo, go ahead.
So you should put Afenyo Makin on the banner.
Ebo, go ahead.
Is that what he wants to do?
Ebo, go ahead.
Really? So the point I made, which I'm making again, is that because you have a very weak leadership in parliament.
Your word is
you just had a very fantastic regional elections. That gave you a certain mileage, a certain political mileage. Instead of you to allow that thing to go on for some time, to help you to be able to be in a positive position as you prepare for your national election. You came up with needless attack on Goldboard. You destroy everything. that's what I'm saying, that they made one mistake, they can still do something about that mistake. The second mistake is the candidate, I've told you. And so, this one, they shouldn't make the mistake of electing somebody who cannot put a party together. What MPP needs now is a leader who can put the party together for future elections. Because as for the next election, they know, they themselves, even their candidate has said that the next president will come from the south and not the north. He himself said it. So he himself knows that the next election is going to lose. But you prepare the party.
If the two main parties have two candidates from the north.
That is why it's a matter of strategy anyway. So, so that's what I'm saying, that, you see, if you have such situation...
You see how you have exposing.
Oh, they allow him to make his point.
No, this is serious.
No, expose who?
Oh, forget.
Ebo, continue. Ebo, conclude for me.
So the point I'm making is that... No,
please allow him. Yes.
You see,
Come on, you are being very disruptive.
When I said it's a matter of strategy, you didn't understand me. You didn't understand. You didn't understand.
Oh my God.
You see, so the point is that they will need a leader who can put the party together.
Okay.
And I'm seeing some moves in the party. If you have ever been an MPP member before, you can understand that move. You know, Nana Komia is being introduced as the first vice chairman. He's being pushed into the race now as the first vice chairman. Which means the one who is likely to win is going to have problems. Because remember what my own good friend, you were free, said. He said they wanted national and regional executives who are Bawumia loyalists. And they want Bawumia to control the party in the same way that Akufo-Addo did. So, if you listen to some of them, they prefer Ejaku because he's got that maturity and the personality and the character to put the party together. But Nana Komia will be the first vice. You see the move? So that Ejaku can be a casualty.
No wonder
so that Ejaku can be made. Oh, you see, you when did you start politics? When did you start politics?
No, don't engage him.
No wonder.
When did you start politics? I'm telling you, I am telling you what is happening in your party, and you are surprised. I'm telling you what is happening in your party.
I think Kamau can't listen to you on MPP. Anyway, so I get a point.
So anyone who understands MPP politics,
okay,
who understand what I'm saying.
Okay.
So I in this election, I can only wish them well, but not in the 2020 election. You know, as usual.
That's what you should say. Just shut and then move away. But sit down and confuse yourself.
I've confused myself.
Yes, you. Briefly on this. I mean, first, are you surprised that you're hearing that John Boadu and Ejaku basically are the front runners at this point in time?
You know, for me, the most important thing is unity. The different factions within the MPP and the different people standing who are akin to those different factions is where the challenge will come in. So if they want to really progress and be one, then unity is key. If different factions from the different camps get the different positions, are they going to be able to work together? If it so happens that they feel Nana Komia is being what? Pushed in.
According to the Ebo theory.
Let's say if that is the case. Or some supporters of President Akufo-Addo is pushed in, as opposed to Vice President Bawumia, then it will create challenges. From the word go, they should be able to clear any disunity on the top and should be able to work together as a team. If they don't do that, then you see it will transcend to all the different people who are akin to the different factions within the party, and that can create challenges for them.
Okay.
I just hope that they have a good election and all this argy-bargy stops, because at the current moment, they are the largest opposition party. We cannot afford to have a one-party state. So politics should be such that it's come and go. And one day, the CPP will put his leg in.
Okay. Do I still have Mr. Danko on the line? There's a question that someone sends about whether Bernard Mfibu-Esiako, why his name is not coming up in the poll. We don't have him. Okay. Let me give you a bit of final word on the MPP.
I have been wondering why an incumbent general secretary who was voted out 4 years ago can so just transmogrify to become a favorite for chairman. And that is a question I want to ask Mr. Danko, because if the man is not good to lead them as general secretary, how come that 4 years later he's good to lead them as a chairman? These are analytical questions that can be thrown to him. But my cousins in the Zongo will say, look at Diane. Makamaldin, look at Diane. Look at Diane. Whoever, what multiplication they bring who and add who and add who.
They look at Diane means what?
Look at Diane. It's all the same. Nothing changes. The value is the same, yes, if you want. Because the first day that the MPP decided to do a top-bottom approach to their elections, that killed the zeal of the party. The day that they said they were going to elect the president, their presidential candidates, and then now come down and then do what they are now doing, was the day that the zeal of the party died. When you ask him a question, then he says that the way we do our elections in MPP, the way we choose our leaders, are you people in heaven? Are you different from everybody who does elections? That arrogance. We do our elections. How do you do your elections? How do you do your elections?
How is that an arrogant question?
Oh,
telling you how we do our elections.
It's not different from any other party, and it's not even. In fact, it's not even different from a football team. A football team choosing its captain.
An arrogant question.
I'm saying that the way you do your elections, it's not different from their nursery students also electing their leaders. So why do you know where we do our elections? How do we do our elections? Is that So let me tell you. Look, no, it's my turn. I beg you. I beg you. I beg you. It's my turn. It's my turn.
That's how we do our elections.
It's my turn. So the thing is that if, as a political party, you have a ship that is wrecked, whoever you bring him as your chairman, because in the last 4 years, these people were headless. You know that? In the last 4 years, MPP had no chairman. When our chairman was everywhere, did you find their chairman anywhere? When our chairman was moving from one place to another, and there was a story of even where our chairman went somewhere in the Brown Afro region, and they also had a conference that day, and all their people trooped to our chairman's place. You remember? There's a video that's going around.
No, Nana Komando was president and the chairman of the party.
So you need to have a situation where there will be sober reflections. But listen to Ebo this morning. I'm down-spirited because I thought that they would have learned their lessons from the Afoko era. But with the permutations he's talking about, so that they will make Nana Akumia will now become a de facto chairman. That is also another recipe for disaster. I think that
wobbling permutation.
I am sad for the MPP because the MPP we are seeing today.
Speaking what truth?
The MPP we are seeing today is a
microcosm of what?
No, it's a pale shadow of itself.
Yes,
it's so sad that a party that was so formidable. And their leadership will sit by and allow the party to be run down like this. But it is important that we have a democracy that is strong. And to have a democracy that is strong is to ensure that we all help. The MPP needs our help. All of us need to help the MPP. We help the MPP to find its feet. Else the MPP would go down in the drain. Yamutu.
I'm told Mr. Rankwa is back. Mr. Rankwa, I was asking about the names coming up. No chairman Wuntimi came up at all. We've heard from his spokesperson saying that they will pick form for him and he'll file and he'll contest as well. Hello, Mr. Rankwa. Yes, you can go ahead. unmute for me. No, I think you are muted.
You can't even hear you.
Okay. Okay. So some messages that have come through. Landlord Borga D line. I'm coming. He said you totally agree with Ebo that as a nation we waste so much on energy. Example, just take a look at our capital town main street lights during daytime, and in the night they don't function. Okay. Your regards to Lawyer Maliba and your uncle Kamaldeen. Okay. I've done that message. Nana Yoke, you say that. When is the Supreme Court ruling on the abolition delegate system taking effect? They said the parties must take steps within a year to implement it. I don't know how they want it to take effect after 1 year. They said within a year. I'll share that part with you subsequently on that. But that is it there. Another one here. It says so far over the last few years, without any shred of doubt, the disproportionate number of people in politics admires Musa Danquah's credible work. However, sometimes the target is real when it doesn't favor their favorite candidate. Okay, that is Akasokre Joseph Bongo. You sent this message. I think we can do our first draw now, and it's going to come up on the screen just about now for the draw to take place. It's still not too late if you are participating. I'll give you the chance. I'll give you the chance. I'll give you the chance. Relax. Star 439 select option 8. Select option 8, and you can get a chance to participate in it. I'm going to give you the chance. Don't worry. I'm going to give you the chance.
What kind of chance again do you need? You said what you want to say.
And so,
behavior here. What's that? You people, what's that? But if Muntumi had contested, this MPP behavior.
Okay, so can we do the draw now? Are we ready to do the draw immediately? If we can do that, that will be coming up on the screen. Okay, so we'll do that. Kamaldeen, just go ahead for me briefly.
Very well. Look, at least we know who are vying to become national chairman and whatever other positions. That party that says that they are formidable, they are strong, they are united. The last time I checked, they are on social media insulting each other left, right, center.
This is what you wanted to
Neil and Van der Poel. They said, look, with this character, you want to become a national chairman of NDC. They've started. This is how they're going to fight. And it has always been their stock in trade. Yeah. That is how they are. Today, we sit here and we have put ourselves together and they admire it. From flatbed to the grassroots and where we have gotten to, we are building a party. You don't have to sit here to tell us that our party once upon a time was a strong party and today is not a strong party. Look, he will never say it's a strong party, even if it says. And I'm happy that they don't even know our strategy. That's the best. If you have an opponent who cannot understand your party, that means that you are good to go. Trust me. If you have an opponent who says that to confuse himself about your party, that means that you are good to go. So MPP, let's put ourselves together. Let's look, like John said, all we need is unity and a collective. And trust me, when we do that, these people who have subjected us to mismanaging this economy and making people suffer, okay, we'll move on. We sit here and you tell me that Afenyo on gold ball. The gold ball CEO himself admitted that there were losses, and that's not the way they go about it. The gold ball CEO admitted that there were losses. He himself admitted. You sit here and then you want to say that Afenyo has spoken against gold ball.
To buttress the point I made, if Muntumi had contested, Nana Kome wouldn't have contested.
Okay. AB.
Yeah. You see, if somebody flatulates and you think that you want to also retaliate, you shit on yourself. This man, all the time he has taken, what has he done with it? What has he said? I told you that you cannot even choose somebody. You see, that's the problem. The problem with the MPP is that you have a problem, you will not deal with it. But you see, the most important thing is that an MPP that is wobbling as it is now cannot choose a better candidate to contest in the next election.
At least we have a flag bearer.
So
you are struggling to get
your party is in shambles now. Your party is in shambles.
Your own candidate says the next president will not come from the north.
Yes. So if Kamaldeen is saying that the NDC do not understand their party, it means the people too won't understand your party.
No.
Because they are also part of
our
Ghana.
strategy. They will not understand our strategy. They will not understand.
The people
you don't have
who
any
understand the
strategy.
strategy.
The choice of a candidate itself tells the story. That you don't have any strategy.
All right.
You don't have any strategy.
So just the question that the texter asked. So it is hereby ordered. I'm reading the words of the Chief Justice, Justice Paul Bafobon. He says, it is hereby ordered that all political parties registered with the 4th Definalized Electoral Commission are restrained from selecting presidential and parliamentary candidates through any form of electoral college system, and not later than 1 year from today. Establish a system for selecting presidential and parliamentary candidates enables all registered members of the party in good standing, as determined by the party's constitution, to directly vote for the presidential and parliamentary candidates as well. I'm assuming that the NPP is proceeding that presidential and parliamentary, so that's how you're going to do it. That's your, how you want to do it. But the party would have to wait and see.
When was this judgment, first of all?
And the judgment, this judgment, we all know it's a couple of weeks ago. Anyway, that's fine. We can have the conversation. That's what time would allow us this morning. My guests have been Kamaldeen Abdullahi with the New Patriotic Party. Ebu Bakman is with the UP, our resident conspiracy theorist this morning. Kwame Jantua is with the Convention Post Party. Ibrahim Maliba is with the National Democratic Congress, Director General, National Road Safety Authority. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
It's a good day to be informed about all that is happening in the world of sports because officially the busy weekend of football is this weekend.
Yeah.
You told me yesterday, right? Yeah. And we'll be getting into who and who or what teams are playing today. But right here in Ghana yesterday also the 32nd ordinary session of the GFA happened and a lot of fallouts. But what I'm interested in and a little confused about is this, that each GPL club will receive 1 million Ghana cedis before the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
The winner of the GPL will take home 3 million Ghana cedis, and then a 9.5 million will be paid as a prize money for the GPL clubs. I'm confused.
So
I understand the 1 million part.
Yeah.
But from the 3 million and the 9.5, I don't think I understand.
So the 1 million is for everyone, all the 18 clubs.
18 clubs.
Just like how they did last season.
Okay.
It's more or less for preparation and a cushion to support teams. However, the prize pool for teams is 9.5 million. So based on where you finish, you'll be rewarded higher money. And so if you win, you get 3. If you finish second, you get 2. And then when you are third, you're 4. They split that 9.5 million.
But all 3 of them all together is the 9.5 million. Oh, Ghana cedis. Okay.
That is the price pool for what
now
they'll
I
give
understand.
based on what you finish.
Oh,
and so, I think that was the critical part that a lot of teams want to hear when it comes to the monetary aspect and the motivations and reward for playing in the Ghana Premier League. So last year, like this, Mediama pocketed 2 million for winning the Ghana Premier League. However, this season, the winner will get 3 million Ghana cedis, which is a 50% increase. And so that's what Keto Kreku did say in Congress, so we can take a listen.
For the season beginning 2026-2027, each of the GPL clubs would receive 1 million Ghana cedis each again. The winner of the GPL will take home 3 million Ghana cedis. So like I said, in total, we're going to pay 9.5 million in prize money for the just ended GPL season.
All right. I think if you ask me, that's a good raise.
Yeah.
And I'm sure all teams will be super happy about it. But particularly the 1 million that will be advanced before the GPL. So it means that it will help them with prepping and equipping the players and all of that. Okay. Where are we getting all these monies from, by the way? Where does it come from?
We've never really
Sponsorship?
We've never really had like a direct answer, but I think it's just support from the FA in combination with the ministry and government as part of their process to help push sports and help cushion Ghana Premier League clubs. And so I do assume that it's coming from a combination of the ministry and then the FA.
Or maybe the sports fund that has it been set up already?
Yes.
Because the minister spoke about it
he spoke about
right?
that one as well and urged for more investment in that. But it's running. A lot of companies have donated, but as to what the usage would be and in what measure, we're still not clear on that one yet.
All right, keep an eye on it for us. Soon as you get some information, let's have it. And yesterday, the minister at the 32nd Congress also said that President Mahama some time ago made a promise that he was going to build 6 stadia in the new 6 regions that have been added to the 10. But he's actually changed his mind. He's increased the number to 10.
Yes.
Tell us about that too.
I mean, I think on paper it's a good idea I think that for a country like Ghana that has been playing football for well over 70 years now, I think that the least requirement was to at least have a decent facility in every region that at least one high quality match can be played or an event or a tournament or anything can be had on that edifice. And so I think it's good to want to improve infrastructure for sport development in Ghana. However, I think that the issue has always been execution, because if you are planning on building 6, 10 stadia, it's not easy. It requires a lot of funds, it requires a lot of mobilization, and it will take roughly 2-3 years to build a world-class facility if you're looking at a proper stadium.
Right.
And so the question then begins to surface, what's the timeline?
Okay. For all 10 of them?
Yes. What are the quality of the stadiums that we're looking at? Are they going to be proper world-class with tartan tracks, or is it just mini stadiums? What's the capacity, 10,000, 20,000? Those are the type of details that you want to hear, not just saying that, we're going to build a stadium. because when you start to hear that, then you know that it's coming close or planning has begun. Yeah.
Well, let's hear about that. No timeline has been given yet, right?
Yeah, no timeline on that one.
Okay, let's take a listen to the minister on this one.
The president, during his campaign, promised to build 6 mini stadia for the 6 new regions. I dare tell you that His Excellency has since reviewed that decision, and he is no more going to build the 6 mini stadiums. He is going to build 10. So the Western North region will have 1, Oti region will have 1, Ahafo will have 1, Bono East will have 1, Savannah will have 1, Northeast will have 1. These are the new regions. Upper East will have 1. Upper West will have 1. And then Volta region will have another 1.
Okay, we'll keep an eye on that for you. Now, let's talk about Brazil 2027, the Women's World Cup. What's up with that?
Yeah, so the draw has been done for the Interconfederation playoffs. And so the Black Queens now know their fate when it comes to the 2027 World Cup and what they have to do to reach a tournament for the first time in 20 years. So the fixtures have been released. They would begin their journey in November with a game against Ecuador. And then they would have to face Uzbekistan after that. And then they will face Papua New Guinea. And so these will be the 3 games that the Black Queens will play between November and December. And immediately after that, if they finish in the top 2 of the rankings for the 6 teams put together, that's when they will progress to the final stage where they have to play 1 playoff game. The opponent is yet to be decided because that's where you have the teams from UEFA and CONCACAF drop down into. And we'll see how that one goes. But, I mean, November is a very, very long time. Even before that, they would have to play an Olympic qualifier here in Ghana and all of that. So there's a lot of time. A lot of things can change. But it's possible. It won't be easy, but it is possible.
It will not be easy, but it is possible. Anyway. So when is it? 2027, right?
Yeah, the World Cup itself.
Next year.
Next year, June 2027 into July. Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. No problem at all. This weekend is going to be busy.
Yes,
the EPL is back. The men are happy. Some of the women are upset already. But if anything is to be taken out of the World Cup, I realize that women also now enjoy football a lot. So we'll help you in watching all these games. But I'm told that tonight Coventry is playing Arsenal. Is that correct?
Yes, Arsenal face Coventry in the opener for the 2026-2027 Premier League season. It's come by so fast.
I know, right?
You know, when you talk about Coventry, there's a lot of Ghanaian interest.
Yes.
Caleb
and Brandon Thomas Asante.
So there will be a lot of Ghanaians who will be watching with interest for Coventry. They are newly promoted side, haven't been in the Premier League for a very, very long time. And so it means a lot to see them back where they truly belong. That's the Sky Blues. And for Arsenal, the question is, can they do it again?
Right.
Win the league for the first time since 2004. So
I know, right?
The question is now,
and
how long can you sustain
excited.
the dominance? Yeah.
Okay. So Manchester is also playing Hull.
Yes.
Are all these games being played today or spread across the weekend?
So just the Arsenal-Coventry game today.
Okay.
And then the rest is spread across the weekend. Man United will play the early kickoff on Saturday against Hull City. And then we'll be seeing the rest of the matches. Chelsea play Fulham on Monday. And so everything else between that is Saturday and Sunday.
Okay, but Chelsea Fulham is on Monday.
Yeah.
All right. Oroku, thank you for all the updates. Please stay blessed. Have a great weekend.
You too.
We take a breather now. We'll be back with more. It's still TV3 Newday.
Newday, but it's really not a good time for the 14-year-old who was assaulted by two security men, the autistic child, and yet the school, per the information we've gathered, decided to punish her, as it were, for her involvement in something that a number of people call assault. And they suspended her 1 year from her boarding status, as it were, and we'll be having a conversation with a number of people, including the executive director of the Africa Education Watch, Kofi Asare, who is actually joined us via video call now. Mr. Asare, if you can hear us, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, good morning. Good morning to your audience.
Indeed, it's an unfortunate situation, but I want to go through, I know yesterday yourself, you issued a statement and subsequently granted interviews on the back of it, but I want us to go through your statement plus the others that were issued earlier just before we start this conversation. And if we perhaps can start with the one either from the Ministry of Education or the GES. Okay, before that gets displayed though, you've already issued a statement, Mr. Asare, okay, asking for the independent investigation into the circumstances leading to the decision of the school on the girl. First of all, okay, so that's the statement coming from the Ghana Education Service, and it says that as an initial step, the two watchmen were arrested and handed over to the police for further investigations. In addition, management has been interdicted them with immediate effect. And that's just a portion of that statement coming from the GES. But I wanted to first find out from you how really you got the information, and so far, beyond what you've put in your statement, what else you've gathered regarding the circumstances surrounding this girl's incident that we understand happened somewhere in June, but it looks like officials sat on it until it came out?
Well, let me indicate that we issued a statement earlier in the day yesterday, and then we saw GES's statement, and then later in the day, we saw the ministry's response. We are happy that the ministry has restored the full educational rights of the girl. That was our key demand, that the girl's full educational right be restored, because she was never guilty of any sexual misconduct. And she couldn't have been guilty of that. We picked up information on social media initially. Then we saw a letter purporting to have dismissed purporting to have found the girl guilty of sexual misconduct, and then mitigating his dismissal sanction with a suspension from boarding school sanction. But initially, when I saw the letter, I thought it wasn't original, because there were some basic typos in the letter. And so we asked our team in the Upper East region to get on the ground and gather information for us. So after we had gathered adequate information, and also I personally got in touch with the regional crime officer, the Ghana LCID in the Upper East region. So after I had gathered enough information, we decided to issue a statement. Our preliminary investigation suggests that it wasn't one abuse. It was more than one, and it started in June and ended in July. And it involved the same two guys. Okay. Our preliminary investigation also suggests that there may have been a first report or complaint by the girl when the first incident occurred. But we are not too sure whether it was made to the right people using the right means, and whether there was a response at all to prevent the reoccurrence of the second, and then subsequently, the disciplinary processes that we are witnessing. So a lot of T's to cross and I's to dot. That is why we have called for an independent investigation by the GES into the entire case management, trajectory, and ascertain where there are gaps, because the school's letter suggests that it was an incident, but our understanding of information we are picking from the ground suggests that it wasn't an incident, there were incidents.
Mr. Asare, I know that you've just given us really the information you've gathered on this, and there's so many legal frameworks, as it were, that protect children in such situations. You even have the Criminal and Other Offences Act, you have the Criminal Code provisions, you have Domestic Violence Act 2007, among others, that are all written to protect children in such situations. Having gone through the statement from the GAS and that of the ministry, would you say that aside from the restoration bit of our academic status that you mentioned from the Ministry of Education, the other content is satisfactory enough that would even be deterrent to others who may be thinking of doing same?
Well, in terms of deterrence, prosecuting perpetrators, they are already in the custody of the state, facing trial. So that is obviously the main deterrent. You have to prosecute them for defilement, and then also dismiss them from the service. One is already 72 years. I don't know whether they are staff of the GES or they are staff of the school, but it appears to me that it's likely they may be staff of the school. Either way, they are within the education ecosystem, and so dismissing them, these two should be deterrent enough. The challenge of the first is that many a times, for cases of defilement, we all know that our culture normally leans against settlement. And so you find that the families, and then the victim and the institutions involved will normally be doing behind the scenes movements to try and settle the matter. I suspect that there was poor cooperation, which could have led to that. Reason why the perpetrators were only arraigned in court yesterday, when the offenses occurred in June and July.
Indeed.
So it gives you an idea. But these are things that happen always in schools, and so we know how they normally end. And without the cooperation of the victim, especially, it is difficult for you to pursue any defilement charges, in court. So that's the issue always with cases of this nature when it comes to the deterrent. But on the administrative side, as much as practicable, we always urge the ministry and GES to ensure that its code of conduct for staff is fully, enforced, and such elements quickly dismissed from the service to ensure that the school remains a safe place for both students and then teachers and staff.
Mr. Asare, I want you to hold on for us because we're joined on the phone by Daniel Fenyi, who speaks for the Ghana Education Service, as well as Mr. Gapson Kofi Raphael. Good morning to you, gentlemen. Thank you as well for joining in for the conversation.
Yes, good morning and thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, Mr. Fenyi, if you can hear me, I want to start with you. I think one of the questions still lingering is this incident happened in June. What information has the GES gathered as regards when, for instance, the first incident was reported, and what sort of action was taken?
Indeed, thank you for the opportunity. I should mention that for the Ghana Education Service, immediately the issue was brought to our attention or reported to us. Our immediate reaction was to get the gentleman arrested, because we believe that even though they seem to be our staff, for such a heinous crime, we cannot countenance it. We also went ahead straight away to interdict them. And then the first step is to launch full investigation into the matter. As we speak now, investigations are launched, and not only investigations, support system, especially for our victim, have been launched. we would not, at the moment, whilst investigations are ongoing, prejudice or go ahead of us, because it is so possible that by the time the investigations are over, certain new information may have come up. And so for now, we would assure you, and of course our public, general public, keenly interested in this issue, that the victim, this 14-year-old, and what makes their case even more serious is the fact that she's a special needs student. This is a student who needs special attention, special support. In fact, preliminary investigation shows that she's somebody even on medication. And so for this particular incident that even came to our attention, this girl in question had relapsed, because on the day or in the week that this incident happened, he had not taken the medicine, and so he had relapsed. And that was the point that she needed support even the most. And this is where these men took advantage. For now, these are the information we would divulge to the public whilst we allow our investigations to unfold. I would agree with Fee and all other stakeholders who have called for investigations into the matter. In fact, we have actually listened, and not only our TSOs, even the ministry and the Ghana Education Service Management as well, have taken very keen interest into this matter. And I can assure you that this has reached the level of seriousness that Ghana Education Service cannot sit and watch alone. And so investigations are ongoing. People on the ground, the guidance and counseling units and coordinators in the school are also on the ground. The lady in question also receiving medical attention. And then we are very hopeful that she will recover and reintegrate into the school community or the school system. I should also mention that the girl has not been denied any right as a student. In fact, she is conceptualized as a victim in this circumstance. She is not an accomplice. She is not at fault. She is rather a victim of this. And so we are giving her all the support that will help her reintegrate back into the school community and back into the education system.
Yes. Ms. Afenye, I'm not sure you answered the question of when the GES had information about this. When did you receive information?
Yes, that's the part I'm saying. The investigations are ongoing, and it will come out when we are done with our investigations. So
why is it difficult to disclose? Why is it difficult to disclose when you received information? Because it plays a critical role as to what kind of protection the girl had since this thing happened in June, and it is in August that we are reporting this. How would that prejudice the investigation you're conducting?
You might be surprised to learn that the conditions that made it possible for this unfortunate incident to happen may not have even started in June. That's why I feel that as a public, we as Ghana Education Service, we owe you that accountability to go into the bottom of the issues and come out fully with a comprehensive report on what exactly transpired, even when the incident happened, how or where it started, and all that. We are, as Ghana Education Service, conducting this investigation, and we will come out with a comprehensive one. While this investigation is ongoing, we will not want to, in between, just as the public has requested that we should conduct this investigation, in between, be divulging information, some of which are even sensitive and helpful to the investigation process that we are conducting. That's why I mentioned that there is no cause for alarm at all, especially with regards to the investigations that are ongoing. When we are done, the comprehensive report will definitely come out for all of us too. But even more to this is the solution and the support for this young lady.
Yes. Your own code of conduct prescribes as it were, how teachers and school authorities are supposed to be taking care and protecting children that are in their custody. And the country's constitution also spells out some of these areas as well. You talk about helping the young lady integrate well. What about the school authorities? What has been done? What measures have been put in place?
Yes, so I picked the school authorities from different categorizations. First one is the two watchmen who are directly involved in this incident. We have interdicted them, and they are in police custody too. For the school management, in fact, even beyond the school management, when I say school management, I mean the head teacher of the school, the house masters in the school, and some of the teachers in the school. That's what I mean by school management. But then, those that we believe must be invited to give us some information that will help us. They are part of the investigation process. In fact, even at the regional level, we have been in touch with the regional director. At the moment, the investigations are happening at the regional level. When they are done, they will submit a report, a comprehensive report to us. And so all management persons, because we are receiving certain reports too, even suggesting that some members of the school management try to cover up this incident. We have received certain reports like that.
Have they been interdicted?
For all the names that have come to us.
Have they been interdicted? Those that you have heard information regarding, they trying to conceal the matter?
Interdiction is not applied in that manner. Interdiction is applied when we have this baseline information, especially with regards to sexual engagement with students, or there's briefly established baseline. But for names that have come up, they are being investigated and actually helping with the investigations.
Mr. Fenyi, very briefly, I'm sorry, we're running out of time. Very briefly, you talk about interdicting the two security men. We understand one is 72 years old. Does it mean that they were staff of the GES?
In fact, for what we have received, they are staff of the school. And that's what happens with staff of the school. Some of these staff in the school are actually contracted sometimes by the PTA, and so they are funded by IGF from the school itself. And so when we say staff, they might not necessarily be government payroll kind of people, but these are local persons who sometimes the school itself, sometimes the PTA, sometimes the school authority contract to come and support them in the school administration or the school management. Yes.
All right. I need to go to Mr. Kofi Raphael, General Secretary of the PTA Council. Good morning to you as well. Thank you so much for joining us.
And thanks for having me.
I'm sure you heard the GES narrative of the issue. I just want to get your preliminary thoughts, really, and perhaps your conclusion as well on what transpired and what you believe could be done.
Okay, so first of all, thank you for the opportunity. We've seen the action taken, and we commend the ministry, the Ghana Education Service, and then the police institution for whatever they have done immediately to make sure that at least the corpus are being dealt with while the victim receives the necessary support. For instance, when our core position is that no child, and especially a child with special needs, can ever be blamed for abuse by an adult. The shame is on the perpetrators and not the victim. And as our elders say, if a person who is supposed to carry you on his back is the one who pushes you down, where then will the child run to? What we are just trying to say is that the adults in the school management, the Ghana Education Service, the Ministry of Education, who we have given some part of our vicarious liabilities, or we've given them the duty of care to make sure that our children are safe in their hands and in the school space, when they also give that same opportunity to other actors on behalf of the state. And this is what happens to our wards or our children in the school. The clearly tells you that it's not an issue of only Bolga girls, a child in Bolga girls, but it's a whole Ghanaian problem. And we should look at the issue as such and deal with it.
Indeed.
And our major concern has to do with the whole shock that we are hearing that one of the suspects is a 72-year-old man employed as a school security staff. Whether he was employed by the Ghana Education Service or by the school administration, they act on behalf of the Ghana Education Service. And they inherit both assets and liabilities. These are liabilities in the school space that we think that the public service and then recruitment procedures, if indeed it is true, something has genuinely gone wrong. Because a 72-year-old person, what business has he gotten to do with staying in the school to even play that role as a security man? Because the truth of the matter is that the school should not be retirement homes. Security roles require vigilance, strength, and sound judgment. So we demand the GES to immediately shift to recruiting young, better trained personnel of integrity for school security, not only school security, that is the non-teaching staff, for kitchen cooks, those who cook in the kitchen, for those who do labor works in the school. All these people, we should look at it that when we are recruiting them, we should make sure that we recruit people who have what it takes to actually manage the space for us.
Indeed.
We are also demanding that the administrative justice aspect of which that they've activated the process with our interdiction. We demand that those staff should immediately be dismissed per the code of conduct of the GS and debar them from public service.
Indeed.
For 1 is 38 years. If you dismiss him and still gets another space somewhere to go, he will only transfer that mindset and go and do another one somewhere.
Indeed. Thank
and
you very
we're
much.
also asking that a nationwide audit of all school security personnel, their age, background, and fitness.
All right, thank you very much. Gapsin Kofi Raphael is the General Secretary of the PTA Council. We also had with us Daniel Fenyi, who is Head of Public Relations at the Ghana Education Service, of course, as well as Mr. Kofi Asare, Executive Director, the Africa Education Watch. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for sharing your perspectives with us. A very serious topic that we need more time to have a conversation on. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us. It's time to give out some money.
Yes. If you already dialed, it's time for you to get your money. *439#. Let's see what's happening on the dashboard, Coco. I think that my fans have done amazing today. Time now for you to receive your money. Akable, do the first announcement. I think this is the 2,000 Ghana cedis. Please, whose number?
It is not Joseph's number.
Definitely not. So the winner is 233-546-293, and the remaining 3 digits, you already know it. You've received 2,000 cedis?
Yes, 2,000 Ghana cedis coming into your Momo wallet now. I will do the second one. I told you, I'm here for it. So please, let's get into the second one. You are about to receive 3,000 Ghana cedis. I wish that, Coco, you could call the first person for me. But before then, let me give you this announcement. Now, the Environmental Protection Authority, EPA, is bringing the Kumasi Experience to the Ashanti region on 26th and 27th of August 2026 as part of its ongoing public education campaign on the national ban on specified polystyrene products, commonly known as styrofoam. Now, the ban is specified polystyrene products, including takeaway food packs and other specified packaging materials, takes effect on the 1st of January 2027, as stipulated by the President. Now, the 2-day Kumasi Experience will feature a number of exciting and informative activities. On Wednesday, 26th August, the EPA will begin with a float through Kumasi at 7 a.m., followed by an outreach at KJTIA Market from 10 a.m. EPA officials will engage market women, traders, and members of the public one-on-one, providing information on the styrofoam ban and encouraging everyone to make the switch to environmentally friendly alternatives. Now, on Thursday, which is the 27th, the EPA will host its EPA clinics from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at Edum, Asafo, Labour, KJTIA, and Kumasi City Mall. Then at 5 p.m. on same Thursday, 27th of August, the EPA will host EPA in Focus, a live session at the Longford Royal Centre with focus on our services. So come out and join the EPA, the Kumasi Experience, get information, access EPA services, ask questions, and learn how to contribute to protecting our environment. And remember, the ban on specified styrofoam products takes effect on January 1, 2027. Let's make the switch. Let's do away with styrofoam in Ghana. Well, for further information, kindly contact 050-669-4760, or you can also visit any EPA office near you. Environmental Protection Authority, protecting the environment, our collective responsibility.
All right, if it's your birthday, we want to help you celebrate it big, like we always do it here. Yes, so let's see who is celebrating their birthdays today. All right, okay. Rodney Jepson Jejom, Uncle Komla Kluche, and his mother, Ernestina Kluche. We love you. God sent you to us. Ibrahim Mensah, a.k.a. Man Butcher, who, God bless you. Happy birthday to you. Na Ajele Kofi, happy birthday to you. Elom Poktake of Dansoman, happy birthday to you, Elom. Okay. Pascaline Mateki Boy, happy birthday to you.
Nora Kuko Esiedu, thanks for being kind. Happy birthday to you.
Okay, who else is celebrating their birthday? Mr. Richmond Kojonyako, happy birthday to you.
Josephine M. Hutchinson, God bless your new age.
Madam Amma Brobe Williams, happy birthday to you. Deputy General Secretary Administration of Ghana Football Association. Okay, happy birthday to you, ma'am. And the man called Sule, happy birthday to you. From Ernest Bruja Jemfi.
Gladys Agawini, happy birthday to you as well.
Ernest Mokpokpo, happy birthday to you, Ernest. May the Lord cause you to prosper.
Happy 60th birthday to Mrs. Christiana Amagbeku, and God bless you from your son, Junior.
Dr. KB Tando, God bless your new age. Happy birthday to you, Doc. Okay. And that's all for the birthdays. But if you're celebrating your birthday and we couldn't wish you, remember that we're with you in spirit. We're wishing you all the best for the day and the year.
Absolutely. Yes. It's been an eventful week. We come to the end of the show this morning. Some of you got a chance to win some good money. They got 2,000 cedis. It's very simple. I mean, Roland always says, do 40 times,
But
right?
this time around, I think the competition is tight, so you do more than that.
You have to do more than 40.
Yes, more than 40.
Charlie.
Just so you can get more, especially when it is jackpot. You have to. Anyway, my name is Beatrice Edu. Thank you very much for staying with us through the week, and I did this with
Joseph Akable. We are back on Monday with another edition of Newday.
And Cookie Tea. Yes.